Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Le cabra bayo la moi sera du lot. Ya Américain pas l'eau. C'est autisme-ma. Encore une autre fidèle qui. L'Américain pas l'eau que nous. Quand il reste Libye, il a quoi qui. J'ai vous payé presse. L'Américain pas l'eau que t'as bien de moi avec moi. En somme, on va battre au moins. Mon temps dit est à nous. Ça va bien faire moins vite. Abela loke yo. Kagbo so ajulo. Hey. Awaye. Ati oro a. Yao. Abela loke yo. Bibi to jogba yin. Bibi to number. Ma ti si mo pe yo. Manager Gigi. Ouais, t'es jamais forcé ou si tu connais, tu connais. L'animateur Choco Nosca Yassin de Toyebi. L'homme a tout fait pour Mivito. Aniché les deux.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Good evening, so folks. Samson to Liberian Public Radio again. We're here again to have a discussion with you this evening. Thank you for joining us. Those of you that are joining us, we say thank you very much. We're going to have a wonderful, wonderful program here tonight. Thank you for all that you do for Liberian Public Radio. We really, really do appreciate it. Because of you, of course, we're here every night. I want to thank all of you again for your continued support of Liberian Public Radio. Thank you. Safety. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening. As we come before you here again tonight, my Lord, we ask that you continue to guide us. We ask that you continue to give us wisdom. My Lord, we ask that the Republic of Liberia is in your hands, and we ask that you bless the Republic of Liberia. We ask that you bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. We ask that you bless the people of the Republic of Liberia. We want to thank you for the opportunity that you are giving some of us. We thank you very much. We thank you. My Lord, we ask that you bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Folks, Samson to Liberian Public Radio, sitting in again tonight for Mr. Saul, who is still on assignment. And I hope his assignment ends soon, because the board chair is getting ready to send pink slip. You come on the time you spoke on, that's something different. But no, on a very serious note, Mr. So is back there doing some wonderful things for this show. And I think many of you, once those things come to fruition, many of you will be appreciative of that. So we want to thank Mr. So for all his effort. And so we're willing to sit in any time for him. Folks, We'll send the link out already. Those of you that will have the link, if you care to join us, do so. And we'll just talk a little tabata here tonight. So Liberian politics, folks. Liberian politics. Those of us that consider ourselves political junkie, we enjoy these politics in Liberia, to be honest with you, because it's such a wonderful thing to have. This one man, one vote is really working. The election for the speakership, it's not once, so say once, so say all. I remember back, I believe it was, I think it was either 76 or 77. It could be 77, 78, something like that. Don't hold me. But there was a meeting that was held in Ijera, and I was at a meeting at night. I was one of those snuck in. And there was an issue with Grand Judea County representatives. And they have one Seitori who's been a representative because he was also the one that killed Koma and his son. So he was elevated from Grand Judea. So when he became a representative, he was there for a very long time. And then when Toba came in, of course. So that night they have a meeting, and they were asking the folks from Grand Judea, citizens that work in Toba government. So the question was, Mr. Abawai, General Abawai, who was, I'm not going to say deported, but he was sent to Grand Judea because of some issue with Tubman. So he wanted to be senator at the time. And Grand Judeans were saying, many people, he's not from Grand Judea. He's not from Grand Judea. So Toba asked a question, is this man from Grand Judea? And the superintendent, most of you are, oh yeah, of course, he's from Grand Judea, he's from Wabo district. He became a senator. And there was another young man, Mr. Kema, Boa Kema, also wanted to take this seat. And Toba strictly said to say to him that you have to get a young people a chance, let him serve it. That was it. There was no two-way street about it. So at that time, Toba brother was the president pro tem. I don't know those things. I don't know how he was. At that time, Richard Henry was speaker. I don't know whether he was elected. That's not even. But now you have the speakership, the current position, the speaker. There's going to be an election tomorrow. One man, one vote. It's so important to me that I feel, I'm not going to say vindicated because it wasn't me that got killed. So I'm not going to say that I feel vindicated, but people who told us that when we die because of what we're doing, it's the future of this country. I never believed that. I never believed that. At that time, when that statement was made to me, I thought it was just somebody living in Camp Johnson Road. You're talking about Liberia future. Who cares for Liberia? I want to survive in Camp Johnson Road, making $75 to $100 a month, working at the Ministry of Education. What are you talking about future? But when they told us that, we didn't believe it. But I kept it at the back of my mind. Now, looking back on those kinds of conversations, that evening, the conversation, it just made me feel good. That yes, indeed, those who died did not die in vain. That yes, indeed, Liberian future is looking brighter every day. But along the way, there was a lot of destruction. People died. They challenged the system. They challenged the democratic system. The democratic system that was trying to put people together, it was challenged hugely, bigly, as Trump would say. And the challenge went on for some time. So yes, indeed, people can challenge. But the point that I'm trying to make here overall is this election that is coming tomorrow, the speakership election. One man, one vote. Now, Councillor Kofa or Representative Kuhn cannot just get and say, I want to be, and a president-elect, but I can say, yes, you be. It don't happen. No more. There will be a true election in the House of Representatives to choose their leader. For me, it just makes it good to thank God for the life and the long life that we still have. We just thank God every day. Because to watch these kinds of things, having had the opportunity to understand the two-way party-led government and the involvement of a progressive at a very young age, of course, and I was able to follow. I was not educated. I was just mere not even a high school yet, but I was just following because of my mom that I worked for at the Ministry of Education made me to follow these things. So I was fortunate enough to be at a very young age to have somehow a foot in the door of the democratic policy and the democracy that Liberian were experiencing at the time, what we thought it was. But anyhow, so now tomorrow we're going to find out who the speaker is going to be. The people in the House of Representatives are going to vote. Okay, so however way it turn out, I think Liberians have served themselves well. However way it turns out, I think I'm happy that this one man, one vote issue is well in place. It's well in place. So, folks, Mr. So, if you're listening, please share the link again. Mr. George, Sister Goya, I sent the link to every one of you already. Malice, Terry, I sent a link out already. So if you're not able to join me, that's fine. I can talk for 2 hours. Talk a lot of tabatat for 2 hours, no big deal. But anyhow, so let me go on. Something strange, well, not strange to many of us, but something happened. I'm not going to characterize as being strange, but something happened today. President Weah spoke as his church. As usual, this is where he's much, much, much more comfortable to talk about issues of Liberia. Mr. George, are you ready to put your tongue out to this Sunday? Should I bring you on? You ready to put your tongue out? Okay. I think he's ready. So, Mr. President Weah, we're at his church today, where he's comfortable to explain to the Liberian people whatever it is that is happening in the government, however what his feelings are and whatever, this is where he goes to explain. And he came out today and saying that in a sense that he does not intend to seek 2029 presidential election. He think he's making a statement, and I'm just paraphrasing, I'll be out of politics, so to speak, come 2029. But those of us that knew this whole thing about President Weah, I've always felt that it was not that President Weah wanted to be president. President Weah was never elected based on his leadership abilities. I doubt it. It was just because he was popular. And the fact that Liberian wanted to see if he has that same ability that made him to put Liberia on the map when he was playing football. If those kinds of things can be brought to Liberia, that kinds of mindset, and move the country forward. And he had every one of us believing that. But some of us vehemently rejected those ideas from day one. But anyhow, he told us today that most likely he's not going to be. So now that I have Mr. George here, I was going to dance a little bit. President Waka, thank you for the. You coming to help President Waka? Let's dance. Ah, yes, LPR dancing for Joseph Waka. I know Mr. So will be pissed. Even George. He said, I tell you, if you and myself to be total together, I think that time will run away from us.
No, we're going to burn it. We're going to burn it down.
We're going to burn it down. Thank you, Mr. George. Thank you for joining me. Sister Miley, if any of you listening, if you want to join us, please do so. But Mr. George, thank you for joining. We appreciate it. So the issue here first. What is your take on the upcoming election tomorrow for the speakership?
Look, the exercise, it is what we want. It is democracy. We can talk here and there, but people have the right to choose who they want. So that lies in there are 72 men hands or 77 men hands to select the two-person speaker and deputy speaker. All what we have said, we have given people information and it left with them to take it and use it.
Right.
The people are interested in it, so they don't have to make that decision. I think they on the ground, they have listened to the people, so they'll be going to vote with a conscious mind. And whoever wins, that's it.
Right. Right. Okay. And I also believe, as I stated earlier, this is the music to my ear, to be honest with you. Those of us that believe in this one man, one vote, this is the music to my ear, because I doubt it if Liberia will ever be turned around to go to the days where few elite in the country, political elite, decide these positions, decide who occupies these positions from time to time. And I think that the folks that were elected by their people, I'm not going to even think about whether they truly representing the interests of the people. That's not my concern. But they were elected. Whether they were fool the people to elect them, that's not my concern. But they were duly elected. And now these are the people that are going to select the speaker tomorrow. I think it's a good thing for our country, and the future generation will look upon these kinds of things and say, okay, this is when and how our country changed for the better. So I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have. Let me go on, Mr. Josh, to the issue of President Weah. I'm going to make that a central point here tonight, because and I think God is just wonderful, to be honest with you, Mr. Josh, because a long time ago I decided that I was going to do a 1 week show on President Weah. Why? Because we have a lot of materials. We have lots and lots, especially me. I have lots of video. President Weah, his entire 6-year presidency it was not done in bubbles. These are records, public records. And so I've been thinking to do a whole week program on President Weah. But then I've been thinking also, and I'll be honest with you, and then you can call me whatever name you want to call me, that's okay. He's a Southeasterner, and I love him. I like him. So I've been also conflicting on the issue of trying to bring out these records, because most of them will not portray the president in real good light. And I frown on that on myself and said, no, I don't want to. I've been debating. But now that he himself clearly stated that this was not, he wasn't in it to do what Liberian people thought he needed to do, but he was in it to prove a point. So with that kind of statement made,
wait. Are you paraphrasing him?
No, he said he went in there because people thought that they were insignificant, and he wanted to prove that he was significant, and that's why he got into this, to prove to the people that yes, indeed, we are significant.
Who we now?
It's on the video.
That today's sermon?
Yeah. So with that statement made, it now opened the door for me to go deeper than that and show why President Weah were never going to be successful in the first place. There are two. They actually CDC, President Weah, they pretty much, if you try to compare in our community what politics compared to CDC and what individual compared to CDC, the individual and the politics is in Grand Jury Association. But I'm not going to touch that yet until I get to that.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what happened?
Yeah. That when I read it, they will kick me out of.
You know what happened? My old man told me one time. He said the politics of Grand Jury, he said it's one of the dirtiest politics in Liberia.
Yeah.
The old man told me that thing. He said the politics in Grand Jury. So I thought, now you just confirm what the man told me.
Oh, yeah. They had a lady They had a lady in Grand that called Mary Bear.
I knew Mary Bear. You talk about Mary Bear?
Yes. At that time, I was little, but I used to listen and I used to watch a lot.
Mary Bear,
That
I think he
lady
know
gave
Morocco.
so much problem to the men of Grand County. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. She stood her ground. They couldn't move her, and she was known all over Grand County. And, you know, but that's something. But I'm just saying, if you want to know all of these things, tune into Liberia Public, we will bring them up. But Mr. George, let's have the conversation. So what I'm saying here, I don't know whether you had the opportunity to watch the video, and I didn't set it up for that. I set that video up for tomorrow. That's for sure. But what I'm saying here, what do you make of that statement, the president coming out and making that statement?
You know, I want to be brutally honest tonight again, and I know, but this is President Weah. If he made that comment today, first then he not been honest to himself and the people that follow him. Because Mr. Toe, you say, you know what happened? I'm just doing this to prove a point to the people. I just want to get to the point. I want to get to the point. I want to prove to people that I can do this. And it's not from the bottom of your heart. Then you are not being sincere. And this is what this man did to the Liberian people. Those are following, they follow us. Because this is why we saw his job performance running the country very poor, Mr. Toe, very poor. Because only he wanted to prove a point to people to show that I am important, that we are important. Who we?
Yeah.
George, where you in the era of soccer, you reach the pinnacle of your career, the world. What do you have again to prove to people? What do you have to prove to people? The first African player that won Ballon d'Or, world best, who not playing the World Cup. What do you have to prove to the people again? Then you say you're going to be president to prove to whom, and you could not deliver. So the 6 years of the people's lives were being wasted because only you wanted to prove a point. Because that was when someone author you say this and that. President, we have never took that country seriously, Mr. So, based on what he's saying now. Because anything that your mind is not told, you not do well, Mr. Toe, just to prove a point that yes, I can beat this. I mean, nobody said that. Okay, people criticize him because the position he took, he said he wanted to be president, and some people say he was not educated. But is that really what he wanted to prove to the people? And look at what the country is facing today. I'm not saying he created all the problems. He met the problem there, but he added more to the problems. Only to prove a point. But you can see, President Weah didn't like the job. He didn't like the job. Now we're saying some of what we were saying, he's just proving he didn't like the job. He was just there because, hey, I want to show people that I can do this, and this is it. And so this is now he proving some of the people who the president like the country. Now, if you like a country, Mr. So, I don't know who advised this person to make that statement.
Well, the way I see the president going about things, if he's in a church, he feels free. Because remember now, he was brought up by his grandma. And the grandma, especially people from the crew side, when they go to church, when they are committed to the church business, they don't fool around. They are wholly committed. And so I believe that growing up with his grandma in the church, it's always been taught to everyone that goes to church those days that in the church is where you confess. In the church is where you be truthful. And I think it stuck with him that perhaps whenever he gets in the church, he say exactly what is on his mind. You know,
Yes.
and President,
Yeah.
we have never usually come out and have a press conference to make this only in the church. So I
Yeah.
think that's what happened. It has nothing to do with advice.
Yeah, but you see, because what he has done there, he appointed himself, no, even as a scene, as you are quoting him, that he will not run because he can't run again in the position he has put himself in. People will all go after him. That he
But
not one of them.
yes. What? I hate to bust your bubble right now. I'm a liberal. This is what I'm going to do. Most likely, if President Bakai is unable to deliver, I will petition former President we have to come back.
You know what happened?
No,
President
on a very serious note, Mr. Judge, before you say that.
President, we are political career is done.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Look,
From that statement, you quoting him. From that statement he made, that he only wanted to prove a point. Let me see. Let Mr. Kennedy come up again to defend it.
Ketel not show up tonight.
I mean,
we'll discuss all of those.
Because what he had done, he misled a whole lot of people to believe in him.
Yes.
That he was genuine, that he wanted to change the country.
Mr. Josh,
Yeah.
Mr. Josh, I don't want us to go deep into this. Because here's the thing here. I think I've been saying it here on this show for more than a week now. That President we are in the conceding process is becoming like a bio remorse. I think President Weah is regretting the fact that he conceded that early, number one. I think President Weah is also upset with those who were responsible for his re-election process. They lied to him. And President Weah recognized that these people have been lying to him for almost 6 years. Baku, you're doing good. Oh, Baku, you're doing good. Remember, there's a video here that I used to play on my opening, where President Weah clearly said that he's going to be re-elected. He said, remember, I didn't do anything for this country, and they elected me. Now that I have done something, why you think they're gonna reject me? I will be re-elected. And here's another thing that they used to fool him. There's a video where Costa stated that in this country, since early time, they always giving the incumbent another year, another term. So this is our turn now. That's how Liberian politics works. And they believe in that. They believe in that, forgetting to know that things have changed. What really, for me, what really broke the back of CDC and President Weah was this. Many of the sedition, they were all on the same level with many Liberians. Used to eat anywhere, didn't have anything, didn't have car, they have, most of them couldn't even afford rent. They all know, Liberians know these things. And within 6 year term, they were able to amass so much wealth. The first thing, remember Jefferson Kochi had one white car, and I think he had an accident going to Lofa or somewhere in Bon County.
Right in Torotan, yes.
And many Liberians, when they saw the picture of the car, what? In less than 1 year, Jefferson Kochi able to buy this kind of car? Wow. But they didn't change themselves. At the same time, when it was time for a president, we had to make declaration. This is what really happened to them, I believe. President Weah, when he was seeking the office to be senator, he did the declaration where he said he only had, maybe less than 200,000 or something like that. And when he became president, instead of to go and declare again, He didn't do that. And many of even though he insisted that many of the cabinet members and those who are going to be working in the government should have declaration, many of them didn't do that either. So when the president finally declared his access, it was hidden from the public. Immediately after that, rumors started coming around. He was building those villas. Immediately after that, rumors started coming around. He was remodeling his Senko's role. The rehab community, the rehab center where he lives, the roads there started being paved and things like that. Immediately, people started looking. Okay, these people are separating themselves from us. After the inauguration, that next Sunday morning, they went on the football field to play in their blue jersey, blue and white jersey. They were around singing the battle cry, and they started putting their fingers to their mouths, telling people to be quiet. Now, the opposition at that time, they were down hallowed. They were completely destroyed. Because President, we have won 14 out of 15 counties. So they were really, they didn't know what to do. But when these sedition and these political leaders and these people in offices started behaving like that, the energy level in the opposition started coming out. Costa, on the other hand, have inside track with them. Costa have friends over there that were not getting the kind of thing they thought they were going to get because the other people were getting everything. And the fact these people were not getting what they thought they would get, they started leaking things out. The same thing going to happen here in President Waga's administration. There will be people that will start leaking things out. You know? So I believe that this whole thing here, President Weah, he was not in it to say, I'm the best leader. President Weah was elected because of popularity, Mr. George. So this is bigger. This is way big.
No, I will go back again. President Weah did the service to Liberia because he wasn't prepared to lift the country to the point that the people that he was telling the people what he was going to do was a different thing, and what he had in mind was quite different.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Are you a friend? You friendly with Samson too nowadays?
Who told you to come in?
Wait, we just had a chat. I mean, we are friends. We are family people. I don't family. We are family people.
The guy who calling you names every other day on this network.
No problem. Our family's blood is thicker than water. Our family's thick and bang can't break.
What's your problem? Well, who brought you in anyway?
But that's so.
I'm
let me tell you,
I'm disappointed in you, Amos Joyce.
Why? Because you were dancing with me?
I'm disappointed for you to be dining with the Liberian here this night. But I will see how the show will come to an end.
In politics, we don't have permanent enemies. In politics,
all right.
You do not have permanent enemies.
Okay, go ahead.
So
my last name. I'm sorry.
We're good friends.
Yeah, we don't have permanent enemies. We do disagree to agree on some issues. It's just that he told left extreme, so me, I don't go that extreme on the left.
No, he right extreme. Don't say he left extreme. Let's have a conversation.
Anyway, go ahead, Mr.
All right, guys.
Yeah. So,
thank you for joining us.
So what George Weah, according to what you said, the pronouncement he made today in the church, that is the end of his career. And the only thing I'm saying, the people who used to defend this man, that he loved Liberia, he think Liberia, and hearing this from him today, what is the face that kept Hassan, kept them to come to Porto? When this man have told you people now that, hey, I only wanted to prove a point. Now I want to be president. But I just wanted to show the people that I could. That means he never loved Liberia as the people protest. I mean,
if you don't know how to face it, just let me know, because
yeah,
yeah,
he won't put you. He won't put you.
yeah, you want, if you don't know how to face it, just let me know. Don't go back to you don't know the thing you want to be acting like you know stuff around here. We're not building car road here.
We're not doing no bridge here.
That bridge what we're doing here.
So
You coming, John? You myself. Even John, you myself were going fine. You coming, John?
but we're going fine. But that's your profession. I ain't saying nothing bad against you. So you know, let me just but seriously, what President we had said today or yesterday. So he misled the people that did believe in him.
Yeah, that is the real.
He misled the people. And when someone was saying that, they said, "Oh no." Now,
I think, gentlemen, you're trying to take a one-side surgery into this whole conversation.
Okay,
we need to put it into context.
From the back, with from the heart.
Let's see from your side.
Mm-hmm.
So why a problem if the man say he's not running? No, it's glaring. I think we had a conversation here before.
No, but Mr. No.
The only surprising thing is I didn't see it coming that soon, but it was not a surprise. People this guy confide in trusted. They misdirected him, they misled him. And remember, when he took that decision, they were still challenging his decision. There are some people who still feels that they were even calling for his expulsion from the party. Come on. So now it is time to show their political strength. So what's going to happen? My prediction: CDC not going to die. CDC not going to go away, but there will be a new management within CDC. All the little chihuahua can be flying, talking all around now. They are going to be put on layaway. You're going to see a face. That's the danger of having this party, and they don't have a long-term goal. You just take one person. You just take one person. This person is our God. This person is our goddess. And believing now. Right now, it's a big confusion. I said big political disarrayment in their camp because they didn't see this coming. I'm not sure if people to know about it. Very few people, the president might have trusted to say, "Hey, this is what I'm going to take." But he was disrespected when he took that something. They threatened him. He was stabbed literally. It's not even literally stabbed from going to the party headquarters. They wanted him to give account. Yeah, I mean, all kinds of crazy thing was going on. So now that's his way of firing back.
Yeah, but Mr. So, let me ask you this question. What I'm talking about is that I didn't listen because for me, I don't go to church, so I got time to be listening to people's sermon every day. But Mr. So, my statement came from
Mr. So. Can you send a link to Carter? Carter, he wants to come in.
When Mr. Toll
you always having problem with email address. Like he put your email out because every time you send it, he say he doesn't get it. I don't know.
Carter, put your email to Mr. So he can send you.
Or send it in the group chat.
Or send it in the group chat room.
He said that person we have said today that he did not want to. He didn't want to become president. He only want to prove a point. That's the statement I'm saying. If that was the case, then why he misled all these people?
Yeah.
And I say he deceived the Liberian people because it was not his gender, his goal to become president. So what he told people, those that believe in him, he misled them. And he misled the country. Yeah. That's my point I'm making.
I think what most like everything he's saying, if he stay with it and say this is my final decision, I think the like of Jefferson Kochi, Tom Fala,
everything he says when he stays with it.
If he doesn't come back,
can he come back to say? If he doesn't, can he come back to say he won't be president again?
President, we can't come back.
He can't come back.
The thing was, it was glaring when he made that statement in that concession speech. What he tries to do was to sort of neutralize, to stabilize the tension, to avoid people being disgruntled to go in because there was a backup plan by the CDC. They wanted some sort of way, and he told what his name now Chief or Justice Minister that if anybody gets in the street, those people are going to be arrested. They wanted us saying when they saw the army to build out, there were this sort of conspiracy going. Oh, they're going to rig the election. They're going to do this, but It was a contingency plan put in place to national security apparatus to prevent any sort of chaos to have derailed the entire process, knowing that, the Election Commission going to be making a sort of crucial announcement. Everybody knew at that time, people knew what was going to happen. So that was the backup plan, which did not kind of get the real taste of the sedition. Some say, if you talk to the real insiders, some say there was a minister, a guy who said, "Oh, I regret it." So I said, "Well, this I don't even want to believe you. Why were you regretted what?
You were there almost
You work until things falls apart, and then you say you regret it. So what? We're not listening. This is the typical way of Liberian people doing things, always shifting blame. Oh, the men don't listen to us. But you would never see them come out bold-faced is because they do not have any backyard thing. If they leave government, there will be no way for the commendation to say, hey, because I disagree with the policy. We see here many times here. Sometimes when they don't agree, they resign, they leave, and they speak out. How many of them does that? They don't. They will just want to speak out when things go off here.
So check the chat room. Carter put his email in there.
So my point here is,
then now you're right. You're right.
If the man knew that he was not competent or capable to lead the country,
no,
and he took her through this 6 years.
That's what I'm saying, Mr. George.
Took her through a 6 year of acting.
That's what I'm saying, Mr. President. We are still upset. President,
he mad with the people. He mad with his folks. That's another question.
This is like a rumors. I mean, bio rumors right now. President, we are so upset with them that he wants to perhaps show them that you can't do this. They lied to him so many times.
But that's the wrong thing. Something the way he going about, he had destroyed himself.
No, not quite. President Weah is still popular in Liberia.
Let
me predict to you. President Baka and his people, they're going to come out, and most of the time, the people you see around him, look at President Weah. I mean, President Baka. Do you think they're going to do things differently than what is happening in President Weah administration? No. The same corrupt behavior. But let me finish, Mr. George. The same corrupt behavior is still going to happen. It might be minimized, but it's going to happen on a President Baka. Now, the thing about it is President Weah is popular with the Liberian people. That has not changed. The issue now is President Weah is setting himself up to get rid of all of these people that they consider troublemaker. Liberian people consider troublemaker, or Liberian people consider bad comrades. President, we are going to now. There will be somebody, and I will predict to you. What's his name? Franti Kofa.
Yeah, say my friend. You say your friend. Well, you don't have to.
Whatever. But I'm not a sedition, so that's the play here. Not gonna play role. But let me say this: if President we are come back, even Franti Kofa get rid of all those corrupt sedition, I might find myself. Mr. So, I am a liberal. I evolve. I try anything that happy to do good for Liberia, I'm with it. So,
folks,
let me finish my point. So, the point here, Mr. So and Mr. Josh, is this: President Weah or Franti Kofa most likely going to take leadership of CDC. Now, taking leadership of CDC, Gray, Jefferson Kochi, and not much of Tamafara, because I think Tamafara will understand later that he wants to be policy. But there will be some hardliner CDC that will reject that. Now, the CDC most likely be the way of Liberty Party splitting. It's just a matter of time. Because Jefferson Kochi and the rest of the people, Sir Joseph, our friend, they will not put money together to carry CDC for the next 6 years. They don't have that kind of money. Franti Kofa has that kind of money. And Franti Kofa most likely, Tamafara will follow Franti Kofa, and he will be able to flip the coin to support the kinds of CDC they want. And they like a Jefferson Kochi, and those students, South, there's no place for that. I think I predicted that a long time ago. Go to school. There will come time the CDC tomorrow. It's not going to be the CDC today. If you are not prepared, you will have no room in the city. Y'all go look my video up and you will see Samson. I'm a political
So,
guru.
Emma George,
Yeah.
let me expose this liberal here. His hypocrisy on this
I tell
network
you-
here is just so ridiculous. Get everybody kind of like he just in everywhere in there. And that's true what he's saying. And this is why he pushing the agenda. Fanatic Kofa, he's a brilliant guy, he's a smart guy. And this is why you see President Wiyasu also pushing him to be the number 3 third powerful president in the country. The liberal just confessed to me this evening. That's the conversation. And Fanatic Kofa, and he even said, oh, that look at all. And he said he willing to cross when Fanatic Kofa take over CDC.
He will cross over. I'll just making you laugh.
You know, and Mr. So, these are the people who don't build institutions but break it down.
We were friends here.
No, but you put your phone in your mouth. You know me.
It's in his throat, not even mouth. It's in your throat now.
You see,
no doctor can help him.
But let me tell you, Mr. To, that Tabata is talking, it will not work. That statement person we have made that he did not want to be president. He only wanted to prove a point. I told you that statement, I don't care how popular George we can be, will not be elected. No more person like
the man can't come, he can't even come back. So
he
don't
can't come back. Samson told, I don't care how you want to design it.
Look,
that statement alone will haunt President Weah for the rest of his life.
There are some other there are some things he did to I mean it's both sides. He did not, he was just unable to lead a party, to take charge of a party, not to mention a country. If you talk to some of the sedition, they also felt seriously betrayed by his actions. There were some things that he was doing that he wasn't, certain people were being put aside, and now he coming out. This is why he feels comfortable making, because there's no microphone. Nobody going to do any follow-up questions. You are in charge, you talk, and that's it.
Keter, that he don't have a link.
Keter, I don't know. Then you need to check your email. Why, when people say it didn't come back, so why will you say you don't have it?
Check
look
your
spam.
Email.
But let me say this here.
Look to your spam. That you've been using the email, so I don't know why you're not getting it. Look to your spam. They should be there.
To both of you. What is happening here, for me, on a very serious note, I think President Weah's declaration today is to certify the American and the sanction committee.
What did that come from again?
Mr. George, I think President Weah mostly saying these things.
It could be a possibility. You can't rule that out.
To say to the
get away.
People, I don't want anything anymore. And if the man is saying I'm not going to come back, why will you put sanction on him? You want to stabilize the country. Sanction is a form of destabilizing the entire process.
That's not you get it wrong. That's not.
The liberal is on the floor, both of you. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm already the chief here, so the liberal is on the floor. Let me make my point. Meaning that you're conservative, your weight. Let me finish. The liberal is on the floor. So the point here, President Weah, by making a statement, most likely telling Uncle Sam, I'm not coming back. But here's the interesting thing. What do they do in Liberia? When the election time comes, they will petition in their numbers, thousands, will petition President Weah. And you think Uncle Sam going to stay in the way? No. President Weah will come back. You say, well, I don't want to, but if people call you, that means they have more confidence in you. But what I'm going, he's coming by as CDC and CDC, but it's not going to be the same CDC that you're looking at right now. It's not going to be like that.
So possibly you're going to happen. And okay, that I'm open to that sort of conversation. You don't draw the red line in politics.
You're a political guru.
Yeah, you don't draw a red line in politics. His coming back is contingent on the outcome of Ambassador Joseph Newman boycott handling the affairs of the country. Is I
already told you, Mr. So.
One, he should be able to keep his base. That could make Unity Party to maintain governance. If that can happen, it gave a room for a lack of conversation. So that's the only thing. If that's what he's banking on, That's not a strategy. What I see happening, Fanatic Kofa is one person possibly could take charge of the CDC. How it's going to be done, that's another thing. But he has been the direct principal advisor in the ears of the president. And the president really, really listened to Fanatic Kofa. So that could be more or less something. But it's a very, very, very tough one, for him, because would they call a convention? Now, most of the folks that strongly believes in his ideology and are following him, from what has happened of lately to what is unfolding now today, it's a complete breakdown system. Like, hey, this guy, you can't get him to cross the Red Sea. When you reach to the bank of the river, he will fly and no king. You either better walk or you get drowned. That's the situation I think he puts some of his CDC. And this is why it's so dangerous that when these parties are in good time and they do not have a backup plan to start preparing people for the future, whether 6 years, whether 7 years, or 9 years to come, that's what happens. So right now you're asking, it will just be like a guess game, speculation, because there was no one that one could look at and say, oh, this is the face of CDC after George Weah. Sister Guaya, I learned NEC is coming up with a gala line with you and Chief, what his name said?
Zaza Kawa.
He said as Zaza Kawa Joy he won.
You know how CDC look like? All-Star.
Maybe your 1% group can invest into CDC now.
All-Star. When you go and play football game, there's no All-Star. You just go, my man, yeah, you can. My man, yeah, you can. My man, you can. You take number 2, you take number 3.
Call it Jibamu.
Yeah, Jibamu.
No. We're talking at all. You get a link. Come in here. Look at your spam. Why everybody can get a link? You don't get it.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
But let me say this.
Just send the link to Keto CDC account because they close it down. I can't send it to the regular account.
They close CDC account down.
Yeah, Joe, we are shut it down today.
Oh my God, they got. I don't know what between you and Keto.
Seriously, I think what is happening with CDC is some of us.
What the president did is something. I don't get it.
No, Mr. Stokes, stop it. Just exactly some of what we have been talking from day one.
I'm not surprised. But let's hear from Sensei on this. Sensei, what do you make of this Tabata here?
Well, first thing, I think George Manning Weah is making both a political move and an administrative move. When I used to be down south, there some African Americans would say, the women would tell their children, I'll brought you into this world, I can take you out of this world when they're mad. George Weah, President Weah, is making an administrative move that is completely going to dismantle the CDC, start it all over, rebrand the CDC. That is the move. And it's very calculative. And if I were advising, that would be exactly what I would tell him. The CDC in its current form, the CDC that led the country for the last 6 years, is not electable to the presidency anymore. So President George Manning Weah, even though he kind of hinted that he doesn't want to run anymore, he still has interest in the ideas he had from the beginning that led him to put his money into the CDC, into this organization, the grassroots organization, bringing up of the common people, standing for the common people. If you listen to how he spoke in his church, you can feel like it's almost like he gave birth to this child and other people forcibly took this child and he can no longer recognize this child. So he's going back and he wants it to be rebranded and it will come back in a different form, but with the same fundamental political ideology of being the party of the common people, the grassroots people. So really for me, I think people are going to be mad. Of course, I have the benefit of not being a sedition to look at it from an intellectual perspective. But if I were a diehard sedition, yeah, I'll be looking at it from a hurt point. But the current CDC, I don't see one person that can garner 30% of the support of the CDC outside of George Weah. Not one person.
That's a fact.
The person that was in line was porcupine. Once the U.S. government took the porcupine to the zoo and declared an endangered species, it was done.
It begins scarce.
The CDC was done. Look, there is something I was looking at this weekend, right? There is a parallel between what's happening in Liberia and what's happening in Guatemala. If you follow what's happening in Guatemala, the people, the unlikely party won because people came out, protected their votes, even though the ruling establishment put people on an issue called the ice walkers that will come out and intimidate people. What the U.S. government did was to issue a lot of sanctions against a lot of those officials, in effect tying the hands of that government that led to their defeat. It is a similar thing that happened when strategically the porcupine was taken away, Bakugbe Jr., the elephant, was taken away, and then our man, Serena Seaforth, that was still trying to file a lawsuit that he can't file, was taken away. That created a problem because for the likes of McGill, their leadership style is not to train the next person. I told my team when they made me a leader, I said, if you're a good leader, you always coach yourself out of a job. The minute you get a job, you start coaching people so that they become so effective that they don't need you. But the likes of McGill didn't do that. So when he got sanctioned and got removed very quickly, it created a deep vacuum in the CDC, a leadership vacuum, a structural vacuum, a credibility vacuum, because everybody would run to McGill. And so I think George Weah, the president, recognizes that the person that would have been next in line to really control the CDC and coalesce his power would have been Nathaniel McGill, and that is done. So the only way to do this is to just, reset, file chapter 7 or chapter 11 bankruptcy, reevaluate, rethink, and come back different.
No, but let me just add what he said. He's on table. There's a tape that George Weah made reference to Nathaniel McGill, one of his tapes, that Nathaniel McGill was going to succeed him. The tape is there.
But let me work out, Terry.
Yeah,
Terry, good evening. You're in a good hand.
Terry,
of the Liberal. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm running the show. These two guys up there, they're on borrowed time. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Liver, and to the panelists.
So that Terry, you were coming like that? Wow. Emma George, I told you, you don't listen.
But Emma George myself was dancing with President Baka music here. You ain't see it? But anyway, let's go on to Terry. Terry, what's on your plate?
Well, I think you guys already have a plate.
Let me send the link again. Tikato, I keep sending the link. I don't know why. But...
Joe, that meant internet now wasn't Joe. We are stopping the deal.
No. The email account the man had, CDC was paying for it. They shut it down.
That one time is so.
But yeah, what is ready on my plate is the confusion concerning the deputy speaker's position. From what I learned from the lady on Spoon today is that Fanatic Kofa is not supporting her, but she's supporting him. So I'm not understanding what's going on. So
Terry.
Yeah. So yeah. I was kind of disappointed in her presentation.
You wearing glasses?
I do wear glasses at times because my eyes can go.
You know, because you're talking about Fanatic Kofa, you don't get it.
Yeah. So, but however, I think President Weah is a politician. He's speaking like a politician. After elections, there are politicians like Bromsky did it. Bromsky said he was not coming back. Bromsky said it was over for him after the elections, and Bromsky came back. Politicians do that regularly, so I don't think it's an issue for me. I don't see it to be anything. I think that President Weah is sending a signal. Like I said, I hope to see that our CDC is taken over by Mr. Alexander Cummings. If he's smart and understand the kind of politics that he's playing, I think that is what he's going to do. But with all being said, I think President Weah is a politician, and he's speaking like a politician.
So let me ask you, just one politician, you help me. According to Mr. Toh, I didn't watch, because I don't go to church, so I didn't watch the president sermon today. But Samson Toh said that President Weah said he didn't want to become president, he only wanted to prove a point. And that's the one I'm looking at. And I'm saying, if he said it, so that means he misled the Liberian people, those that voted for him?
But President Weah have said worse thing than that. And he still, so I don't understand. Listen to President Weah presentation.
Back a little bit though.
But when you say you're proving a point, do you know the point he's talking about?
Right, proving a point could be that that a native child could lead. That a native.
So what he said was this. I don't know what are you guys watching or not.
I didn't watch the tape. That's why I'm quoting him.
He said one of the things he wanted to prove was the people said that he was insignificant.
Right.
And he wanted to show that he was significant.
Yes.
And so in showing that, now people know now that he is significant.
He proved his point.
And the other point could be that, you don't overlook anybody in society. That's the point he's trying to prove. They overlook me and look what happened.
Maybe I might be taking out all the content, but I'm just having fun with that.
He didn't go deeper. So the fact that he didn't go deeper, I'm afraid to kind of try to interpret what he's trying to say. That's why I left it.
So you're a problem. You're a problem. Start putting your party together for 2029. That problem that me probably is going to be focusing on. Don't forget about Joy we are.
That means talking about my 1%.
There was
try to increase your percent.
There was something else the president said today in his sermon for me that goes in line with the systematic dismantling of CDC, disarming certain people in the CDC. He talked about the people that are planning to go protest.
Yes.
He said, don't do it.
Don't do it. Not on my account.
Not on my account. If you are a sedition and you are on the sound of my voice, don't do it. The captured general is the one that's been asking the POW general.
But
then you call his son name, Jefferson Koji.
Not Koji, the man that
Gray.
Akara's Gray, the former teacher. Anyway, a whole different thing. But he's systematically disarming these people, the Kojis and the Grays, and telling the people don't go out to go protest.
He said, let me just paraphrase it for you, my brother. He said, if you are not invited, if you're sedition, if you are not invited, don't show up. Get yourself a cup of rice, get yourself a bread oil.
Be a JBC.
Cook your food. We will be there till 4 o'clock. We'll be done. Cook your food. Get yourself a Heineken. And people start laughing. He said, no, you can drink whatever you want.
Yeah. So here was the thing. But he also said that remember when we took office, the other people didn't come to disrupt us. I raised my hand. I said, George Bekugbe, and we partied, we danced, we did everything. Other people didn't come bother us. Y'all let them do their celebration.
Well, for me,
he was saying that undercutting people that want to turn the CDC into a violent brigade. And he's trying to take those people power away. And the next thing that George Weah said, that shows me that he's systematically dismantling the CDC to kind of rethink it and rebrand it. He said, right after I turn over power, I'm leaving the country for a little bit.
Yeah,
he's leaving the same day. The CDC is going to lack a leadership that is based on the ground. He's going to let them fight it among themselves, animal farm. And then he will come back and rebrand his organization.
And I think, and quickly here before you take control, Sissy, I think part of that is, I think he felt bad. He was disrespected after he made that concession speak. For some reason, I don't know what few people, what they were trying to prove. I don't get it. And I think he making them to learn the hard way. He was disrespected. They defy him for going on the party ground. I mean, all kinds of crap were going on. So I mean, what he doing now? He firing back. So, and they said it's strong. Let him do it, because
he never exerted leadership. That's what happened. When you don't exert that, then people try to disrespect you. That's what happened.
He said one of the things that he don't want to be in power. He said he's gonna retire at age 65. So by the time 2029 comes, he will be 63. So you don't want to be in power for 2 years, and you don't want to pass 63 either. You don't want to be in power just like the other people that can be in power 80 years. And so he said some of them when I was little, they were in politics.
Well, he taking shot at Joseph Boakai. He taking shot at Joseph Boakai now and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He taking shot at Joseph Boakai and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But hey, look, the CDC is done.
So anyway, Mali, welcome. We're just going around the room here. I don't know.
I don't think the CDC is done. That other statement you're making,
I say for now.
No,
Terry, listen,
there
I say the CDC is done for now.
Parties in Liberia right now, or CDC and even now when you made that statement, or SG said, or Stephen Johnson made a same statement. I don't understand
when it's done for now. Get that one. Let me tell you, Terry. Anyway. When we are is not in that picture, there's no CDC.
No, that is not true. Things are evolving. Things are changing. Let me tell you.
Tell all the things are changing now. Tell all the things are changing.
If to say the Unity Party.
Terry, just hold on 1 minute. Mr. George says Terry H is now betraying him this evening.
Yeah, he said
because of his age, he's not able to go back into real Liberian political history. So
I'm wearing glasses. What I want to say is that
party. Go back.
I just told you his age is betraying him because he's too young to go back.
Pato, things are changing rapidly in Liberia when it comes
to what is changing? Tell us.
But I'm trying to explain. You're not giving me a chance. All right? Things are changing in regards to how politics is ran in Liberia. In time past, there were political institutions that failed because the standard bearer was not successful, or the standard bearer became successful and the party just drained down. That is no more happening in Liberia. We see the resurrection of the Unity Party as an example. Unity Party came to power under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and what happened? Unity Party got rebranded, and today Joseph Boakai is president. All right. So that one party or that one individual party mentality is gradually wearing out. CDC can rebrand herself and select some. Let me tell you something. CDC has a very consistent base. They have proven it over the years that they have been tested and they are well established to fight future battles. So if President Weah leaves, CDC can rebrand itself and bring a candidate in the race that will challenge Ambassador Boakai and even evolve to be the next president of Liberia. I strongly believe that. So when you guys say, "Oh, the party finished when President Weah leaves,"
Terry,
I disagree with that mentality.
Terry, maybe you didn't understand what I said.
So me, I will say, the party finished. I will tell you why. Party is dead. Don't let me walk around it. I can't argue his belief. That's his belief. But I can argue facts.
The most progressive.
I'm giving you facts. At the time, it's not only belief.
So you said that's my belief. I said I can't argue your belief. I will argue your facts.
Yeah, let me welcome Mali. Mali, welcome. Well, just that you heard, I think you're hearing the discussion. Do you have? I know you've probably been listening before coming in. Do you have any contribution right now, or you want it to be discussed some more?
Well, I'm pondering why is it that we are bickering over a dead casket on this platform? Because as far as I'm concerned, if we understand how CDC was birthed, you will make projection of CDC future. CDC is owned by one man, and it's only that one man that determines the future of CDC. CDC is a political party officially on paper. It's a gentleman club in practice.
Oh boy.
right? And CDC does not have a structure or command structure. So the owner does what he wants to do. When the election started, he handpicked a campaign manager when they did not even go to a convention to decide who should do what. So Georgia CDC has been functioning, according to my sources, on taxpayer money. And Georgia had never one day, according to sources, put money in CDC. And when Georgia leave, that will be the end of CDC. The remnants will be the stepchildren of the other political party in the system. You see? So Georgia had an objective. When Georgia left his football career, he was finding other sources to get him money. And one of the best places was the presidency. And he decided to make use of his popularity to get there. Georgia has already exhausted his popularity. He gone for 6 years. Georgia is all set. Those who want to run with the CDC now, they are academically bankrupt. Economically, they are bankrupt because they were running that thing on taxpayer money. And Georgia not going to put money in that thing. Georgia might be thinking about a new venture, but not political venture anymore. A Georgia will come back, will be based on the successes or failure of the United Party. Other than that, CDC is over.
Okay, Major Koji just send me a text that you want to come on to defend.
And the last
CDC,
thing,
so it's interesting.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say here is that the official of CDC,
no, the English today. No,
the official of CDC that took over the mantle of running our government. Look at the caliber, little experience, lack of experience. They replace severity with militancy. So they create a kind of a scary scenario in the party until more mature people don't even want to identify with this group because of their militancy that has swallowed the beauty of civility. Then we say begging over this thing?
What do you mean by CDC have built an institution? What is the institution of CDC?
They have built an institution. Any way you want to call it, you can call it that way. Like Mr. Mari is saying,
you cannot build an institution with one man, Terry.
But wait now, that one man they build an institution with, you can use somebody's popularity and build an institution. That is what CDC have over almost 800 million people that voted for them.
800,000.
I mean, 800,000, sorry. 800,000.
You see the CDC number confusing you now?
Almost 800,000 people who voted for them. Then you telling me say that
let a man make a point.
No, Colin, it's not a number. It's a quality and a caliber of members.
Okay. Wow.
It's like quality. Even the United Party have a quality.
Terry, I don't know why you're so fiery tonight. We're not talking about JMB here.
Terry is planning to cross over.
I'm not crossing over. Reason, as I was pushing back on Terry, I don't argue his belief. He said his belief. Then he lays some points.
Belief. It's facts. I give you facts. I'm not giving you belief.
Listen,
okay, Terry, hold on.
If you listen clearly, I said you believe, and then you lay some facts. Because you did say I believe. That's how you enter your sentence. And I don't argue.
Wow. Terry is.
I don't argue belief. I'm not going to argue.
You scared me.
Let's argue your one fact. You take one data point and you're trying to make a conclusion from one data point. That is not how we do in statistics or in analysis.
But we're not discussing statistics, we're discussing
wait. Terry, a better mathematician, you always gotta go by the statistics.
Data trends. Everything you do on earth is data trends. Right? That's data trends. You don't take one situation and you make an assumption out of that one situation. But let's lay this out. The difference between the CDC and the Unity Party that you're trying to now look at and say this is a trend that shows that things are changing in Liberia is that the Unity Party was not built on Ellen Johnson's leave. As a matter of fact, they had a big fight when they're leaving out. The big piece that the Unity Party had going for them was that they had a most recent vice president and other people that were still willing to keep the party structure going. As a matter of fact, they fired the chairman of the party at the time, Wilmer Pitt. And there was a lot of stuff going on, and there were a lot of people giving money to keep the party going. If you listen to what the president said in his sermon, he said, I don't know where the pool washers were. The people came to me for the money. I gave them the money to run the party, to run the campaign. So there's one man giving money for a political institution, for a political party. That is not an institution. That is not a definition of an institution. And political parties, like a dynasty, for example, like the True Party, that had all of these structures built. From the time Toba passed, the True Party has not been an effective political force in the Liberian system for so many reasons. If you right now look at the almost 800,000 people that voted for George Minor Weah, and you extrapolate that, there were many places that George Minor Weah won where CDC candidates didn't win. So you cannot take the votes of a president who is not going to be running anymore, according to him, or who is going to take a break. And you say all of those people, and mind you, there are people who call themselves Weahians, not seditions. Like our own brother on this show here called Keto. So those people are not beholden to the CDC. If you now look at the current CDC party makeup, the structure, who in that political party, I keep asking, has the following of at least 30% of the sedition, because I'm not talking the Weahians, at least 30% of the seditions that has the money to fund their party until the next election. And how is it going to work when George Weah has not taken taken away his membership in the CDC? He's still going to be a member of the CDC, however way the CDC come out.
Let me bring it. Go ahead.
If he doesn't run and he's sitting there, do you really think after what happened to his brainchild, to his brain trust, to what he expected people to do with the CDC as it eventually to be a grassroots party, you think the rebirth of the CDC is going to sit there and allow somebody else who doesn't believe will carry out his thought of what the CDC was supposed to be to become the political leader or even become the standard bearer? The CDC is going to be reimagined, it's going to be revamped. It's not going to be the same. If it is the same way, it will be like the NDPL or it will be like the True Party.
Thank you. Let me bring in the sedition, we are sharing, or W share, whatever share he is. Let me bring in. Thank you, Evan, for joining us. Any response? What are you responding for CDC, for yourself, or for your party? What is your response, sir?
Thank you. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to you, gentlemen, everyone on the platform. Look, CDC is a formidable political force within the bailiwick of Liberia. Nobody should delude themselves to think that CDC will dissipate overnight. It's not going to happen. I will tell you this. CDC survived in political opposition for almost, you can say, I guess you could say 18 years, because the reality is CDC won elections, senators, House of Representatives, elections in that country with a conglomeration of political influence like Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Devani Sherman, all of those top wigs, people who were big people, quote unquote, big people in Liberian politics before, that was against the CDC, and they won political office, and the student opposition and fought hard and gained political relevance in the country for 6 years. CDC is not going anywhere. George Weah is the vision bearer of the CDC, no doubt about it. But to say that the CDC is not a political institution that can thrive without George Weah, like I said, you're deluding yourself, and I don't want to be too harsh with my words. That's why I wanted to come on the show, because I was hearing this and I couldn't believe it. Like the thing that Mr. Malik Jones was saying, That CDC is only George Weah. Look, the likes of Henry B. Cassidy, Lawrence Tulip, those people who helped start the United Party, they never taste political, power. You know, Ellen Josie, I think, won on a different political party when she won the senatorial seat, you know, during Dottown in Monserrato, and she never took a seat. But the point is, United Party was in obscurity before she came back and merged with the United Party and brought other parties on board. So to say that the United Party have a likely to survive after Joseph Boyka leaves power, then the CDC, I beg to differ. The reality is the CDC is a grassroots party that is based with the Liberian people. Even though George Weah didn't do as well as we hope he would have done, but the Liberian people love CDC because they see it as their own political party. The downtrodden, those who are deprived, who've been deprived of political power in the country for many, many years. They see that party as the last thing that they have. So how anything? I'm speaking for Mbaya because I'm so vexed. I'm so vexed the way I was listening to you guys bashing the CDC, man. Come on.
Let me ask you this. What do you make of the president's statement today?
Look, the president is going through. I don't want to even insult my president, but I think he's going through a time of confusion, political confusion. You know, because you have to do. Hold on now. You have to understand that when you are a president, right? When you leave political office after being at the mountaintop, it's almost like going back and trying to ask for your former job. It's almost like an embarrassment because you were there before and they kick you from there. You know, why you want it back again? So it's like people are probably telling him, "My man, you already did this thing." Look, before I even get to that point, I want to rub something in the eyes of George Weah haters. George Weah in Liberia is the only human being in the history of our country that has chosen a profession and became the very best at it in the world that can be quantified. He was the world best, African best, European best. He won that, came into a different realm in politics, ascended to the highest office, the highest political office in the Republic of Liberia. When people try to undermine this man, he's not smart, he's not this, he's not articulate, no problem. This man could barely speak English well enough when he left Liberia as an adolescent, went to a French-speaking country in Cameroon, and then traveled to France. So mostly, before he could even master the English language, he had to learn a whole other language to be able to communicate. So English is not his strong suit. We don't deny that. But George Weah is a very, very intelligent man. Everything he's put his hands to and put effort in. Hold on, please. I'm getting to this point.
This is
George,
not a platform for you to come give us.
Everything.
I beg you, don't put your foot in your mouth tonight because what happened to the spirit today? That's what I need to know.
Yeah, it's not a final decision. It's not a final decision. The president first, when he lost his.
You feel hurt today?
No, of course not. Like I said, these things are dynamic; they can change. Yeah, he's confused. That's the point I'm making.
Oh,
yes, he's confused because confusion is not a sign of weakness. When things go awry in your life, sometimes you have to sit back and regather yourself.
Speak to me.
Don't push me to the wall.
You put your foot in your mouth. Let me go back to
Pato.
Yeah, President confused momentarily.
Let me just make a few interjections here. Our brother, we need to get something clear here tonight. Nobody is Joe. We are hater here. We are all Liberians. He's our president. We give him that due respect. We are talking from the point of historical facts and analysis.
No, I don't think you're talking about the platform. I think talking in general, to Liberians in general.
Okay, what are you talking in general? But what I want to say here is that, Joe, I agree with you. Historically, he was the best, world best, Africa best, Europe best. But historically, he became Liberia worse.
Oh boy,
that's subjective.
And finally,
you said it on this platform before. That's subjective.
I come in now. He became Liberia worse because they use the downtrodden as a bit to increase popularity. When
In
they
what?
got to power, what happened? There was divide and rule game. Few got rich with no experience, with nothing. Few got rich. The downtrodden you said you were fighting for, they are the sufferer today that Joseph Boakai is going to contend with. All right? So if you are the world best, Europe best, Africa best, automatically, logically, you should be your country best. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me go to Mr. Josh. Mr. Josh.
Yeah. Let me take Mr. Every back small to little history, because what he's saying, I'm a little bit confused. You talk about George Weah, the popularity. Maybe I want you to read about G. Bacchus Matthew. In 1979, G. Bacchus Matthew was the #1 politician in Liberia. Every corner you turn, people heard G. Bacchus Matthew's name. Samson told that. Power. Everywhere you turn was power.
He beat Moja.
Moja. What happened?
George Weah has usurped that popularity
Hold on,
and transcended it.
Hold on. I'm just trying to take you back to institution. When Bacchus Matthew died, that was the end of power. What you say, just rambling on UP or LAP or whatever, that ramblings. Sister mentioned 2-week party, the same thing. When Gabriel Paulet, 1984, when he formed the Unification Party, he left the scene. It went down. Ever behind Kessley, the Unity Party you're talking about, what was that party? It was dead. It was dead. Doe King, when Doe left the scene, what happened? And this is died. So we're giving you data of how political institutions have survived in Liberia and how they have gone down. You can come and say all these things. Perfect. I can just tell them as you believe. But based on record, we have not seen it before. The Unity Party make a reference to. After the election, what was Unity Party? What was it? So we talk on based on statistics. Now, the issue, you talk about George Weah happening, so, oh yes, when it comes to football, there's no argument about it. But you think George Weah is he a good administrator? No. What happened to junior professional? That's man, that's his area. Cesar's a mathematician. So if Cesar cannot run a math class or math institution,
God forbid,
then we say Cesar has a problem. But you said George Weah was a good administrator. He did everything he put in hand was gold, as Donald Trump termed it. But that's made the area of that's his profession, football. George Weah he dreamed football. And could not run a football institution that he funded. Die. How many institutions?
Hold on. We're going to come to you.
He opened a nightclub. It went down. Exporting goods. It went down.
He brought the buses from Africa. It disappeared.
Hold on, Male.
How can you tell us that this man, in all the area that he was successful?
Okay, Mr. Judge.
I gave you that answer. The football, George Weah as a player, no question about him. But administratively, he does not have it, and it's not there.
Okay, thank you. Let me go to Mr. So. Mr. So, what would be your contribution so far?
Look, it's a kind of difficult thing to count people out in politics as well. Indeed, his term was a very rough one, but I think he learned a really good lesson. Who knows whether he's going to capitalize on this and rebrand himself, present himself in a different faction, in a different style. But what I kind of believe in, though, my prediction here, CDC will be managed by different folks. I think President Weah suffers this because I don't know whether it's out of empathy or sympathy, or people who he felt that they were in the vanguard or who have sacrificed, who went behind bars, and he thought of rewarding them politically. At the end of the day, those are the same people that took him to the poll to politically crucify him by not being honest with him. And I think this abrupt decision, I would say abrupt, in the sense that I still had a sort of apprehensions as to whether he was going to contest. But I strongly believe, and based on what I'm hearing from other folks, there's an anger that kick in. We all have our own level of place, and when our cup is filled, you just have to take. His people, the very people that he trusted, they were some of the people when he took the decision with this concession, they see it to be one of the worst things. The president never consulted them. Everybody can be consulted. I'm quite sure there were other people who were involved, but they still kept challenging the decisions of the president. They were still pushing this narrative that the election was rigged, the process was not fair. You can't have a standard bearer who you say is the leader, the face of your party, saying one thing, and you have few handful of people who wants to be the challenger and do whatever they want to do. I think that prompted this president decision, and like what you're saying, that you're going to be going. So now you're making it crystal clear. Anybody who jump out there, you decide to do anything, you on your own. The law will take a course. And I know they're going to see it as a betrayal. But I think the challenge of the president and the president never consulted, there are a lot of things being going on. And I kind of agree with Elvis. This is part of the frustration in the sense like I never thought of this coming. I didn't see this coming from the same very people who are talk, who even though people were beating on me, I should have done this, I should have done that, but I wanted to give them a second chance to see whether they could change course. That did not happen. They kept pushing on. And that's, I mean, you yourself, we here, sometimes you can just, your cup can just get filled. And you're like, you know what? Let me just wash my hand out of it. I was doing it for all of us. I was doing it for us to do it. And I think that was the point that he was, sister was talking about when he said he's making the point. Because nobody counted him out. Who thought President Weah were being the politicians are disappointed all along? So coming from that sort of from the slum, his lifestyle, how he was raised, and how he excelled in the football industry, became Africa best European. That itself, it gives people hope to say this guy is going to change. Unfortunately, that did not really translate into his administrative governance of government. I think the empathy, the sympathy, all of that kicking. He now wanted, I don't see him to be a guy who was willing to take tough decisions, even with his own people does it. And that's what get him to this point. But we can't count him out. And like I say, depends on how Ambassador Boyka and the Unity Party are going to do. He could come with somebody else and present a different argument. And people will also remember, the good side to say, hey, when this guy was defeated 6 years ago, this was a decision that he took, and his own people went against him. We are compassionate people. People are quick to forget. And we'll say, okay, let's see him this time. Let's see the kind of caliber of people that are around him. And you don't know, they can give him another trial.
So you must be the campaign manager for that time.
Yeah, so I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more.
You need to go face your party.
That is the point I was making, and I think Elvis came in hot.
Yeah.
You mute them, Mr. So.
No, we hearing him. Mr. To, you mean?
Okay. Terry,
I am in charge of this program. Yeah. I don't even know how he hijacked this thing.
Terry, I'm in charge. I'm running the show.
Yeah, Terry, so you see, when you say President, we are confused. I don't understand. But first of all, you got to understand what is the CDC Constitution says when it comes to running as a standard bearer. I think the standard bearer can only go 2 times.
Terry, you even going to go into Constitution of
CDC? What is your problem this evening? Something to.
Come in now.
I don't want to lose him. Let me be frank with you. I don't want you going that route.
Well, coming to the light.
That's my opinion. But anyway, so that we must also understand that President, we are in 2011. President Weah was running as a vice standard bearer, as Winston Tubman was the standard bearer for the CDC against Madam Sirleaf. All right, and it didn't go their way for several other reasons. So President Weah saying that he's not going to run could be that he's coming back as a vice standard bearer to another political party. I mean, to another presidential candidate that the CDC could choose or select, you know, and say, oh yeah, this is what it is. So his statement today doesn't really mean, in my opinion, that he's resigning from politics. So, and they also got to look at the CDC constitution, because I think there's a clause in the constitution that you can run twice as a standard bearer of the party. So maybe all of those factors too could play into it. But when you say CDC is not an institution, then I have a problem with you, because this institution was created shortly and they maintained themselves. They ran for a couple of years and they held state power for several years, for 6 years, and honor his leadership. In as much as we denigrated his leadership, we know that he was not performing well. This guy held the country for 6 years without war, without any unmanned or international forces on the ground. So even though you will say, oh, the Liberian people protected the peace, but he was the leader in charge. So the credit goes to him. All right? He was able to do that, and now he was able to host an election that international community is recognizing as free, fair, and transparent. And that was not the only election. He held several other elections by senatorial elections and representative elections that went peacefully and transparent. And then he is now transitioning power. The first time in Liberian history, he's now transitioning power to his
Terry, hold on 1 minute. Hold on. Terry,
No, I just want to tell Terry, I was saying one part of chicken feet for making such good sense.
No. Terry, that's 2 minutes sedition praising you right now. I got to put stop to it. Go ahead, Evans. Go ahead.
Wow.
Look, Terry, you make sense, and I see that you're being balanced. Mr. George, to your point, let me say this. George Weah managed the Liberian Lone Star, pay for that team travel expenses out of his own pocket, took them to the African Cup of Nations. The very last time we went to the African Cup of Nations, I think it was in 2002, 2003. I was staying in Liberia at that time. Went against the giant that was Mali in that first game, and drew with them 1-1, scored a lone goal for Liberia. George Weah managed the Lone Star to through the golden generation. When you're looking at government, your government is only as good as the sum of its parts. So if you have
generation,
yeah, that would be the golden generation. They went to 2 African Cup of Nations with George Weah. Since then, they haven't.
Maria, we're talking about Mama Musa, and you're talking about
what they accomplished on the continent at that time, and what have we accomplished since? So even the likes of Brazil, when you talk about just football, not the deviate, since the Ronaldos and the Ronaldinhos, Brazil haven't won a World Cup since I think 2002. So when we're talking about footballing nations, the top footballing nation, most of them have underperformed. So when you look at Liberia, George Weah is not the one playing on the football field. Because of George Weah, our national team improved drastically because people started taking Liberians to Europe because of George Weah. People even lie, that Ali Dia, who lied and said he was George Weah cousin and got a professional contract. So the influence of George Weah developed our footballers into becoming the Lone Star that we knew they were in the late 90s and early 2000s. So George Weah have had a tremendous impact. You're not. You're talking about management in terms of a small business owner.
Specific institution that is my
But
own.
I think
Hold on now. Hold on.
Let him finish, Mr. George. Let him finish.
You know that during the war, George Weah's store was looted. His home was looted. His BMW he brought, a hatchback BMW, was stolen. They looted that man's home of all the goodwill he brought to our country. Help foster peace, ceasefire. All the goodwill he brought as a UN ambassador, they looted his home. They even targeted his family because they saw him as some kind of threat. And he took that personally. And he even confronted the guy and the people that did it to him because he still carried that hurt. He's a human being. So George Weah, everything that he's giving to this country, sacrificed his own money. People say he broke today. He was spending millions of dollars. When at the time, if you do the conversion, you're probably spending like $10 million on Lone Star of his own money he was earning. Everybody knew that he was paying player salaries. He was paying coaches. He was paying bonuses out of his own pocket. Like bro was at war at that time. They had no money. Chancellor was not sponsoring the Lone Star. So George Weah has given this country a lot more than people are quick to forget. The point here that Terry is making, look, I said it on the platform before, Mr. So you remember. I said Alexander Cummings is coming into the CDC. There have been talks ongoing that he's probably going to be the next standard bearer if George Weah chooses to step aside. Somebody brought in another dynamic, and I don't think President Weah would do it. I don't think people would advise him to go as a vice president. But I think if it's not George Weah, it's going to be Alexander Cummings. The groundwork had already been laid before these elections. Had he won, Cummings would have been a natural successor to President Weah. Since he lost, it made things more complicated. But maybe his wife is advising him. There's no need to run in politics again. He's already achieved. Go be like a Goodluck Jonathan. Go to other West African and other African countries. Be a beacon or icon for democracy in Africa. Okay. Maybe that's the route he's going to take, and Cummings is going to usurp him as the political leader of CDC, which I think will be a good idea. I've said it on other platforms. Cummings comes from the right region. CDC is very well rooted in the Southeast. George Weah and his endorsement and carrying him to present him to the grassroots CDC will booster his political bona fides. And I think overall, Cummings can make a good and more competent leader than George Weah in terms of his managerial skills.
Thank you. I think I'm not too sure how much criticism you're gonna get from Mr. George on this here. But let me bring Sese in. Sese, any counter as far as Elvis' expose is concerned?
Both Elvis and Terry. I think they're.
Oh, you're gonna take both of them at once.
I let you just do my thing and just be quiet.
Okay, go ahead.
I think the two of them came in very hard and didn't understand the point I was making. And Elvis helped my point when he said that Madame Salif took over the Unity Party and they had to revamp the Unity Party. So Unity Party now included the Liberian Action Party, the Liberian Unification Party, and a bunch of people. And that's the point I made, that the CDC, George Weah is trying to revamp the CDC. There's going to be a new CDC. I did not say that George Weah was going to leave politics. I didn't say that. I just said the CDC, as we know it, is going to be gone. It's going to be gone. It will come back. It will be revamped, but it's not going to be as it is because the vision that George Weah had for the initial CDC felt like has been co-opted, has been stolen by other people, and you need to bring them back to what he envisioned to be, which was a grassroots, people-led, poor people political party. So I'm not going to get into the discussion of President Weah about where he led and football and all the other pieces, because for me, I always said it on this show, I was one of those people when things were tough in Monrovia, we used to go to Weze to Fiamma. I used to talk about my share and go sit down in Zinc Shop to watch Africa Diamond, the Black Diamond of Africa, play football. So I will not sit down here and talk anything about that, because he brought us some sanity to forget about war during those days. That is quite different from political leadership, and I'm not going to take that away from him. But the only one thing I want to push back on my brother Terry when you talk about George Weah, the CDC administered several elections, and they were free and fair and without violence. So I decided to pull up the State Department report of 2020 and the executive summary, just in brief. Says in December 2020, the country had midterm elections that was ever deemed peaceful, although there were some reported instances of vote tampering, intimidation, harassment of female candidates, and electoral violence. Don't forget what happened when Koji said you're going for a man behind the line. Every election that was administered since 2017 on the CDC had violence attached to it. That is a fact.
I'll listen to you. I'm waiting for you.
That is not my opinion. That's a fact. It's right there. So, yeah, I agree we can believe in things, but when it comes to things that we can actually show that is there, that is where, for me, I differ. Because the data
election in Kidmont.
I'm just saying a few things. I'm just saying. Yeah. Because the data is there, and we can point to that data. And to my brother, Elvis said the CDC stay in opposition, and I think even Collins talked about that they won multiple elections and they led the country. Yeah. But for me, I started to look at data trends. That was when they were in opposition. That was when the people didn't know what they were getting. You look at the CDC in government, every seat that they contest, they lost more seats than they won when they're in the presidency. As a matter of fact, when you look at this 2020 report from the State Department, it said opposition independent candidates won 12 out of 15 Senate seats contested. That was the reason why there were midterm election that the CDC refused to even put up candidates. That was the reason when our brother Keto used to tell me every day, yesterday, Lofa has fallen. I said, when you put up a candidate, they can't put up a candidate, but they got to go behind other people candidate as surrogates. And today, I'm still waiting for you to tell me, say, he's sorry that you told me Lofa was falling. But I guess.
Please, don't obscure the fact that these past elections, CDC won the most seats, 25.
Yeah, but you
What,
lost.
25
Let's do
25 seats combined of the House and the Senate. No, but that's what I'm saying. They're still a formidable political party, even though they lost the presidency.
Hold on. If you didn't win the presidency,
let him finish.
If you did not win the presidency, but don't go for third place trophy. I can't do the deal with it, but I'll lose starting here. Every time lose, say, tell me, you saw that instrument? Yeah, but I remember that coming John Small said, but yeah, that didn't go. No, man, I'll do that thing, but y'all lost the presidency. Forget what they did with trophy team. Let me bring in Carter. William Carter is out there. Yeah, falling first.
Yeah, hello, gentlemen. I'm feeling so downhearted. I can't even get the email. I've been trying everything, but it's all right.
But I sent it to the same email you sent me. I sent it later.
George, we are cut all these good emails. George, we are cut it off today.
Dropping here on a low county or whatever. I'm not gonna get it. And the liberal, the mean one. But anyway, that's all right. I will still come on. But let them just have a little bit of different. Take the conversation to a little different level. I think instead of us sitting down and trying to dig into President Weah's statement and on the negative side and blaming how I think he was undermined or he's mad and all that kind of thing put out there, is for us to look at the significant things that he has done when it comes to our democracy, right? This man who is still young, 57 years old, if you listen to what he said, look, I want to retire at age 65. What that means for our young people, I cannot go into elections being age 62 to run an election for 6 years when I want to retire at age 65. It's setting a stage for young people in our country to pick up the mantle of authority, to show that our country, the youth, are still the dominant part of our society. It showed that this man, all the things that people were saying about, like even the Prince Johnson in his church, calling President Weah a dictator, to show that this man has no dictatorial tendency. In fact, it's the other way around. The men who are calling somebody.
I think the Liberal drop off the whole line.
Y'all get it, man. ANC phone now.
This liberal is a bad man. Why you not here? You're not talking your way. Forget it.
They get Keto Coca phone because
I know I'm making a good point. George Weah is a bona fide Democrat. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah, even though the American tell people say certain people,
that's how Democrats.
People doing the very same thing now with Joseph Waka. People saying, "You see that Omar, I was threatening."
People like Mali Jones coming out to say denigrating things about this leader. It's sad. George Weah did not lose election because the people didn't like him. As a matter of fact, the first round, George Weah won 800,000+ votes. If the election was not 50% plus one, President Weah in his second term right now.
Look at how English is speaking.
If you can go to heaven, why let it happen?
For once in our life. But I just realized that we Liberians, we don't like nothing good. We like evil people. People who will come and step on our necks, break our backs, treat us like crap. Those are the people that we like. Today,
Your president brought in drugs into the country. They're not evilness there. He wants our evil people.
He gave an election order that was very close. Everywhere in the world.
But he said very close. He didn't win.
But even that statement is egregious that the president brought in drugs. In this very country we live in, there are drugs coming into the ports every day in this country. You saying that Joe Biden bringing a drug in this country? Of course not.
That is why
nobody hold Joe Biden accountable.
They do.
No, the DA is responsible for it. The DA is responsible.
That's the reason they impeaching the secretary right now.
This is the problem with Liberia.
Guys, I think this is. I think we.
I think I think we need to set a record straight.
Yeah. So
we need to set a record straight here. And the record we need to set straight here is that I said we need to set the record straight.
Hold on. Go ahead, Cutter. Who the wicked people? You said
the progressive people that damaged our nation. The progressive people.
Okay.
The progressive that damaged our nation. Hold on.
Cutter, including the Moja boys.
Including the Mali Jews.
When I'm talking about
they are all part of the progressive, the Moja people, all of them part of the progressive. They damaged our nation. They damaged our nation. Today we see somebody who they call inept come from the slum, knew nothing but politics, teaching them mauling democracy. They think they could not even do. They put students in the street to go and demonstrate against a military leader. And that military leader killed them. We saw LU. President, we didn't do that. The man we know nothing about politics.
Man, like Joe Baca, who had a wide margin, went to Supreme Court.
You understand?
Imagine.
So let me tell you something here. We should be talking about how our democracy is moving. The professor.
When he lost in 2017, he took the case to the Supreme Court.
Do you know why? Do you know the reason?
Oh, now we want to justify it. The man went to court. He said the election was unfair.
We want to court for a reason.
We want to
see the reason they went to court.
Ever done make it look bad, and that's what you guys doing. Some of you guys doing on the platform tonight, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, Samson don't cut him up.
Liberia.
Don't cut him up.
Everything in Liberia take itself up the screen.
Yeah, don't cut him up.
Yeah, but let me make one point clear here. To the sedition, to the sedition and the reaction. The fact of the matter here is that we are, sincerely speaking, he had a back of the population in Liberia. Okay? We had not implemented the divide and rule political game in Liberia. He used the suffering masses just to capture the executive mansion, and he applied the divide and rule tactic. This man created more impoverished population than any other government in our time. Okay? Now he said pro-po. That war alone is a curse on Liberia. We are not that poor to be called pro-po. That's the first thing. But anyway, let me just make a point of clarification when it comes to Helen Johnson Sirleaf and the Unity Party. When Helen Johnson Sirleaf was thrown out of the window of the Liberian Action Party, she fell in the compound of the Unity Party. She did not take it. She mortgaged that party for 12 years. And after the 12 years, what happened? She set it aside. Okay? Helen Johnson,
they kicked her out. She didn't sit there aside. They kicked her out.
Helen Johnson Sirleaf would not have been president in Liberia because she was stigmatized as a Congo woman. So she decided to use Joseph Boakai as a bait to attract the indigenous.
Wow.
That will allow her to capture the executive mansion. Now, after using him, she decided to trash him. So let us not go deep into some of the analysis because some of them will be very emotional. However,
they're divisive. That's divisive in some
No. There's nothing divisive here. We are talking politics tonight. But the fact of the matter
You
here
see the idea of this.
So that why does that hate Congo people? You say you can't go with Charles Bronx if you got a Congo man?
I said Helen was stigmatized.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Let me bring in another.
No. Let me conclude. A Libra, what the Libra keep? What kind of game he keep playing here? Is he a sedition now or what?
You will know. Hey, you don't when I'm talking, you don't listen to me.
Libra, let me conclude. My conclusion here to my brother Keto and our other brother here,
Elvis.
CDC. The premise I lay here is this: CDC is a political institution or political party on paper.
Oh God.
In practice, it's a gentleman club. Believe it, take it or leave it.
I can't remember the last time Gentleman Club won political office in Liberia. I can't remember the last time they won the presidency.
We will come to you. Let him make his point, and we'll
Liberal, if you can't provide my candidacy to protect or on the platform, that I will have to exist. I have to take my exit. Because the sedition, they don't want to face the facts. We are having a gentleman discussion here. Joe, we are failed miserably in our country. That is the fact.
Okay.
If you use the poor people.
Mr. Miley Jones interrupted me when I was talking.
We're not in a courtroom.
Mr.
interrupted me when I was talking. I interrupted you, so the whole thing
me are standing by to know that the Liberal doing Terry ALC aren't doing anything that the Liberal here tonight.
Yeah, so let me just conclude.
Yes, go ahead.
So Helen Johnson Sally were not member of the Unity Party. Let me conclude now.
Finish.
Yes.
Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Oh.
So my name is John Hina, and I call you guys from Connecticut.
What kind of is this?
You know, it's quite unfortunate for people like Elvis. Let me first of all ask Elvis: is he a sedition? Well, if the answer is yes, then I want to say to him, he is one of the reasons why George Weah failed miserably. Well, some of us are not surprised. We told people that George Weah was not only unprepared, George Weah was not only unfit, George Weah was not only incompetent, but George Weah only came back to reacquire the wealth that he acquired from his footballing career, and he wasn't able to manage anything. This is a guy who became the world best, Africa best, European best. George Weah in history, the only African who became a world best player who won a Ballon d'Or without going to a World Cup. And this guy does not have a single property. He does not have a single institution in Liberia. Check other African countries, players who have played. Look, this guy should be nowhere near leadership in Liberia. It's so unfortunate that our generation do not want to listen to people. When they see people talking, they feel like this guy could not show anything.
Okay.
He came back, the Liberian people put him in the Senate. And nothing George Weah could say in the Senate. You talk to the presidency, the nation higher seat, and give it to an incompetent. This guy who feels so entitled. Liberia has served George Weah than any Liberian. Liberian made George Weah to become a world best through though.
Liberal. Give him a chance.
So that what will be happening now?
We know what he's doing. Some of us knew. This guy only came to steal. He came to loot the country. That's what the country has become. Liberia is a disgrace. The worst thing to ever happen to this country is the George Weah presidency. No, you guys don't know the extent to which George Weah took to this country back. Everything is damaged. The system is broken. Rule of law is broken. Everything is broken. And people like Evan was sent on this show to tell us that George Weah supported the Lone Star.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
George Weah should have stayed in the footballing career. You damage the country.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let me bring in Evans. Thank you, my brother.
Down.
Thank you.
Lord.
Evans, go ahead.
Why do you want to sanction people's voices?
Look.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, hold on.
You say Elvis? Is there another Elvis on the phone?
Evans, go ahead.
Me or the caller?
I didn't even finish. You cut me off.
Okay. Thank you. Look,
I don't know.
Mr. Cecil Goya, I'll even call your name because I know you know this. It was rumored and most likely very true that George Weah was supporting the Lone Star. I was in Liberia. I went to the game. I went to the Chad game. I went to other games that before we qualified for the African Cup of Nations. I live right in Congo down there. I could easily get to the to the SKD complex. Look, George Weah were paying the players' salaries, especially those.
Used to bring their drawer just free for Lone Star and everything. Yeah.
Right, and all of those things. So when a guy said that they didn't support Lone Star, look, no offense, I know you guys are JMB supporters. What the last time JMB brought wrestling? Oh, please, I can't say that one. You gonna be coming off as a throw?
Hold on, Evans. Manager Joe, can you face the camera a little bit because we just thank you. Go ahead, Evans.
Okay. What the last time? Yeah, what the last time Joseph Baga brought wrestling fine gave it to the disabled people for the group of 77. George Weah spent his own personal money on Liberia. Liberia benefited from his sweat. When the last time Liberian benefited from the personal private sweat of Joseph Boyka? When he not giving $50,000 that allegedly came to him from Stanton Witherspoon. Everything that Joseph Boyka gave to the Liberian people was given to him by other people. So when people try to question George Weah's loyalty and his no, the point I'm making, George Weah made personal sacrifice for his country. He's made personal sacrifice, financial sacrifice for this nation. So when people try to come in and denigrate the service that he did to this country because he didn't serve in government for 30 years and he did it on his own sweat and blood and gave back to his country in the realm that he knew best through sports, you can't denigrate a man for that. So the caller, I will be respectful to you. I'm new on this platform in terms of being on the panel. I don't want to really get into it, but I think you're wrong on that point. George Weah has served this nation even before he got into politics, and he served us well.
Thank you. We're not taking any more calls.
I'm here.
Yeah, Pato, you cut me off. I didn't conclude.
I cut you off?
Yes.
Okay. Let me come.
No, I'm here.
Okay, Carter, hold on. Let me come to Mr. George, and then we'll come back to you, Mali. Mr. George, go ahead.
I think probably when it comes to the George Weah thing, or you get too emotional. You don't listen to people when they're speaking. The young man I called did not discredit George Weah's football career. He said that's the area George Weah is supposed to serve. He didn't say George Weah did not do best in his area. So sometimes with people, you don't get too emotional about this George Weah thing or CDC. Listen to what people say. Because that man doesn't have the opportunity probably to call back here and you're trying not to misquote him. And I said on this forum, I said, look, when it comes to football, George Weah, I give it to him. But let me ask you, because you talk about spending money. If someone took money and gave it to you, this is for every, and use it for any other reason, they will not give you credit. That was a personal gift to you. You just said Joseph Boyka, Samuel Watson gave money to Joseph Boyka. Joseph Boyka took and gave it to people. But George Weah sweat for his own money. And you're using the word gift. If someone gave you a gift, what is that? It's for you. You use it the way you want to. So you can't question the person how they use it. You want to get George Weah credit because he worked for his money. And someone gave something to me, and I gave it to someone, you don't want to give him the credit because I didn't work for it. In other words, that's what you're saying. But let me ask you, can you tell me the gift intake of those games I will play in Ghana? St. George was the administrator according to you. He was the captain. I know he was the captain. But saying he was the administrator, everything according to you, what happened to the gift intake in Ghana? So I want you to explain.
Is that a rhetorical question, or you want me to answer?
Hold on. When they call upon you, explain. But I just want to know, St. George was the administrator of the team at the time. Those games you play abroad or your home country now, they get intake and thing, the benefit that came to the team. I want you to explain what George Weah did with it because he was the administrator according to you. What did he do with it? And so explain that now. The issue I asked you, I made a specific reference to the second issue. But you deflected from those issues. I mentioned about the football team. I didn't go to what George Weah was earning. I said, you said, ministry, I said, okay, but these are institutions businesses that he created. And you want to tell me, oh, they looted it. So when they loot your business, so it means that you don't go back to that business again. You tell me the football team was also looted. The GM professional was looted. Is that what you're telling me? GM professional was not looted. He could not manage it. Okay. So those are the questions I asked. I didn't ask about what George Weah did for the country. I didn't go that wrong. because I know he did good thing for the country. He sponsored, he paid player away. I was in Liberia. I'm not strangers in Liberia. I was there. But what I'm asking is, saying you brought it in, I'm trying to ask you this question. What happened to the get intake? They gave those in our place in Ghana. What happened to the intake? What happened to that money? And why junior professional today is not in existence? Because that's his area.
Mr.
Those are the areas I asked you, but you deflected from now. Going to, oh, we are sponsoring it. I didn't ask you those questions, but you brought it. So you brought it. I want asking you. That you to answer what happened to the money you were paying and what was the source of that money? What is it? What is the account that you gave the Liberian people at the time?
You think the people living up with the Burak can have money to pay their way to go to the game? It was probably free.
I'm just asking you.
We'll come to you.
I just asked.
Okay, I'll answer you, Mr. George, when I get a chance.
Mr. Toh, you are very low. Your audio is very low.
Can you guys hear me?
I asked you a specific question. The jet intake.
Okay.
Because that was
Mr. George, why Mr. Toh is taking care of that? I think Elvis is writing down those questions. I think the next person in line was Mr. Mali. Mr. George, you keep going in and out. But I think everyone's right on the question. We answered those about the gate intake and about the other field businesses that you listed. So I think Mr. Mali is the next in line.
Evans, before you go, we got a stranger on here who's been away for almost 10 months. Let me welcome him. We'll come to you. Aaron Brapret, good evening.
How you doing, Mr. Toh?
Okay. How you
More
been?
than 10 months.
I've been great.
Okay.
By yourself.
Hey, same player, welcome back, my man.
We welcome you back. I hope everything is well. We've been worrying about you, and I'm glad to
everything going well. Everything going well.
As the man,
drew a lot of interest to me. That's why I called.
Okay.
That breakable call it, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead before I bring the.
So let me address some things that people be saying about Georgia. They didn't spend money. Okay. So I'm putting my life on the line. I'm putting my family life on the line. I'm putting everything on the line. I was present. I was there. I can name almost 5 different trips. Okay, that I was part of on the national team. As a matter of fact, I was the captain for the national team in Liberia. The only person that oversees me as captain in Liberia was George Weah. When he comes, I'm not captain anymore. Ask everybody. That's a fact. So when
No, please, we want to hear that part, because so don't mute it.
No, that man wants that food.
Okay. Number one, George Weah single-handedly supported the national team during the crisis. Okay? During the crisis. George Weah took the local-based national team from Monrovia during the April 6th and took us to Africos on the campus of the Electrical College, Benjamin. We were there for 3 months. 3 months, just to honor 2 Liberian games. It was all from George Weah. The Liberian government never did nothing about that. So, Mr. George, I want you to get it clear. At every match that we play in Ghana, because when we started playing our matches in Ghana, it was during the war. So we had interim government. The interim government had representatives that were getting the money. The money was being split between the Liberian Football Association and the Ministry of Youth and Sport and the Ghanaian Football Association, because we were paying for that facility to use it. Okay? Now, we have a trip. We're going to Zaire. We're supposed to honor a match to Zaire. Okay? I stand to be corrected. I think probably it was 97 or 98, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Congo.
Into the States. Okay? Democratic Republic of Congo. We got stuck in Africa because...
Is that why Jean Duma broke his leg?
No. It was in the other Congo he broke his leg. Okay. It was Brazzaville. He broke his leg in Brazzaville. So we got stuck in Abidjan, right? There was no money. The flight that was brought from Monrovia to Abidjan, or the people tested the flight. They said this flight cannot take you guys to Kinshasa. You guys cannot go with the flight. This flight, I mean, will not reach you guys to Kinshasa. George Weah, through his instrumentality, he talked to Zembli Zenzo. I said about for Abidjan. Zembli Zenzo was the president of African Sport at the time, the son-in-law to former President Felix Houphouët-Boigny. I was there, and they say George Weah, the charter of flight, early war flight that took the Liberian national team from Abidjan straight to Kinshasa, Zaire, Democratic Republic of Congo right now. Took us there, we played, the flight went for us, and then brought us back to Abidjan.
Wow.
Okay. Besides that, I can name numerous things, okay? The first time I saw this country, America, that was the same 1998, when George Weah took half of the national team to come and represent the selection of African footballers. See that? Because all the guys were going back to their bases, they couldn't come. They were okay, I got my national team champion in Ivory Coast, I will take them. We flew to London, from London to the United States, from the United States to Jamaica. And we played Jamaica to honor George Weah as the first black man to win the Ballon d'Or and being married to a daughter from Jamaica. So when you don't know, if you guys don't know what George Weah did when it comes to soccer in Liberia, you call the people who play with him, who play soccer alongside him, so they can tell you. There will be other haters. I know other players who probably for their own selfish game, they want something for President Weah.
Yeah, and you see that now, Sensei? You see that?
I would never do that.
So you see that?
Thank you, Aaron.
We
want to call what I started divided.
Yeah.
Who President J?
Happy to have you. Cobb, you're next in line. What's on your mind before I go to the?
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. This is Breakable Power.
Breakable Power, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what my brother is more wasting your time. It is to say, tell me not know what person we are do. It gives the people hard time.
A breakable, ever can they show him come and me as well?
I'm not worried about it. Because you saw this man, so the time. But you see the truth, especially I wanted to rest among the there. Look, we are here to be as a football player. 2 times, I don't want to African combination.
The whole discussion.
So you left on that, even before you want here to be no Liberian want for African combination. After you left on that, there are no. These are people looking at a question on it.
Okay.
It's the only man that look at the election and let things go without even a confusion. Even as a president, he allowed let us things go to start because of peace.
Okay.
We are when some people hear the name, like people that like Kerry and Ometo, they think that their body can be easy. They can see the truth, but they want to tell it.
I tell you, okay.
But it's not clear, it's not glaring.
Okay.
They know the fact that President Weah played a major role in Liberia, so even in the political arena.
I said it, Elvis.
The president is not even less. We're going to set.
All right, thank you.
No African player or African politician ever set the record.
Okay, thank you.
Even in the football career.
Okay, thank you, Brigabo. Thank you very much.
No,
Okay.
what's
the next person in line is Jose. Go ahead. Jose. Hello.
Jose or Hosea?
Jose, no. It's okay. Valadez. Vilezi. Okay. You have no interest. All right. Thank you. Let's drop that one. Okay.
There you go, the liberal.
Yeah, they said Joe, we had a dictator. When you're second, we practically dictatorship on the show.
So the thing I have on this position, besides putting your mouth, which they're very good at that. What surprised me tonight is they're not even talking about the whole issue that was discussing CDC and President Weah. Instead, as usual, if they're failing in something else, they try to distract the conversation by jumping into who talking about football business here.
Politics, Doctor, we gotta deviate. But Mr. George asking me, can I answer the question, please?
Yeah,
Mr. Toby, yeah,
but you
yeah.
got nothing to defend. Sedition.
No. I'm bringing no football.
I'm
I'm bringing strictly politics.
I'm coming put you in a bag. Now that Mr. So running the thing. That me. I put you in a bag right away. I have to come play with your sedition. But let me finish it. Let me answer the guy. Same guy. Okay. Cause hold on 1 minute. Let me merge this guy, guys. Go ahead, call up. What's on your mind?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Toby, for taking my call.
Okay.
Hello? Yeah, this is Mr. Yanko. I'm calling from Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That he said.
From West to
another we are sharing.
Okay, anyway, thank you very much. Very interesting show. You know, as we, the supporters of President Weah, when we hear these things, when we're in our homes, in our comfort zones, when Mr. Mali, who, by the way, on the platform all the time, he making false evidences against the CDC, describing us as all kinds of names. But Mr. Mali is an educated man, you forgot to know that. This same CDC party is a party that came to power. We relinquish our rights because of the peace of Liberia. Always, President Weah have been playing this. Even when we not agree with President Weah, but because of the respect, we respect this man and we'll always support him, BBI. We will always agree with his decisions. In the history of Africa, the CDC party here is a party, very disciplined party, and respect the people. So you can create a stigma with the marriage against the CDC. That's wrong.
The message of war, Africa.
You cannot do that.
Hold on. Did you say CDC?
You cannot keep doing this with the marriage. One of the recommendations, we respect you guys. You cannot create a false stigma on the CDC and President Weah. This is wrong.
Thank you.
This is President Weah have done for the country. There's so many ways individuals can contribute quotas to a nation. President Weah have been contributing quotas to the nation forever. So at least all permanent people who work with President Weah, they all work with in a full career, they are making the fact. So let's put this to rest. President Weah has been the most humanitarian and good leader of Liberia. Not because the Liberian people have followed a kind of a wrong trend to make gangsters to come and hijack our political, arena.
Before tell Uncle, the man promised us that they were beating Prince Johnson in my country because he was on the
ground. Okay. All right, let's go around the room and close it up.
Yeah, Pato.
Let me answer Mr. George, please.
No. My question has been answered. They may call my name and I gotta go.
Hold on.
My question has been answered. No, don't say hold on. You've been very biased on the platform tonight. No, I'm not holding on. No. I'm holding my gun to my chest now. I'm not holding on.
You had a fire, any woman.
You want to be like a Hezbollah man now to explore yourself?
Okay, Mali, let Walter Carter close. Then we'll come to you and you.
But why you giving so much time to Walter Carter tonight, so? You want John CDC yourself?
He went take over the party.
Hey man, fanatic over, come and tell the party.
Yeah, fanatic over.
Tonight. Yeah, you're seeing it tonight for yourself.
And please protect me. From the. Yeah, please protect me from these how you call them, progressive. Still progressive people, protect me from them. So this the thing here, right? I don't really care about what President Weah did when it comes to soccer in Liberia. That was his passion. He did it. If Liberian people recognize it, it's up to them. But I'm looking at the political side of what President Weah did. The side that people said he knew nothing about. the side that our country been struggling for so long. We have had educated politicians in our country. They brought us chaos. They brought us destruction. They made us kill ourselves. This man came to power, and that's why we all should be treading on the ground, the foundation President Weah has laid in Liberia. Nobody have ever done it in our entire existence as a country. President Weah have shown the people that, look, a leader should not be greeted for power. A leader should turn over when the people say, we want you. A leader should understand to give the people freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of whatever. He went down to the lowest. He brought it out of poverty when he built homes for people in slum community and gave it to them free. He opened recreational centers. First time in our history we have ever seen. When the progressive went and killed people on the pole, 13 people. And
it was not a progressive, not a military.
Yes. I said the progressive. If the progressive had not put on what they put on, they were not going to kill the people. I'm missing my words. I'm telling you what I know. Don't correct me, brother. The progressive. Okay. I was born in the progressive. Yeah, I know what happened. They are the one that caused that. That place was lying.
Friendly fire.
That place was lying in. Okay, I got it. That place was lying in rooms for years. And then what happened? It took a George Weah to come and give that place some sense or semblance of unification for Liberian people to say, you know what? This place that was so dark, look at how bright it is. People from all walks of life. I know family that lost loved one on the pole over there. They call me and tell me, say, wow, we can't even believe what we're seeing here. They can go over there now and put memorial down in the name of the loved ones. Family people that I know I've seen, and they call me and tell me, they send video to me and all. This is a president that you guys said knew nothing. A man who is empty-headed. A man who just gave all the negative names to. He's the one that transformed our democracy today. Okay. That we all can sit there and talk freely and go back to Liberia and nobody bother you. Mr. To can go from Tota to Monrovia and do all his stuff. Nobody can come out here and say and talk. So we must kill our president. We must thank President Weah for changing the democracy in our nation. And we got to do this. Today we see in Liberia, the man who even take office there, he's forcing people, bribing people to vote for his. All right,
your time giving you is over. Thank you, Carter. Thank you, Walter Carter. We appreciate it.
Thank you for following me the time, gentlemen. It was nice. I went back to listen.
CDC Moya.
Friendly, no, I ain't giving no cross. I was dealing with it.
Okay.
Progressive man.
Evis.
Look, yes.
Evis, hold on. Evis, hold on. I'm running a show. We don't see Munya here. That not CDC Munya. So quiet.
I want to make solidarity with my brother Keto, please. Enforce that. We lost election. We are emotionally wounded. You gotta be sympathetic to us, please. Look, let me be honest with you guys. George Weah did a lot of positive things, but he also failed on a lot of fronts. I've criticized him on all the platforms, and I will do it here. I'm not afraid to do it. I'm not a sycophant. George Weah didn't protect our nation when it came to crimes. I don't think he did a good job. President Weah didn't do a good job in doing so. He didn't do a good job in growing the economy. And there's a saying in America, Mr. Goya will attest to it. It's about the economy, stupid. You'll be foolish not to focus on the economy as your primary, objective if you're in political office. He didn't do a good job on that. His communication skills, that's why I try to put some spotlight on it. I think he has poor communication skills when it comes to public office. He didn't learn the English language, so he's not confident within himself to articulate his views, to the level where the common man can understand it and the educated man can understand it. That's one of his flaws. So some of those things held him back from being an effective leader. I will tell you that up front. But on the backhand, like Mr. Keta said, George Weah is a Democrat. I think Mr. Terry even concur with that same notion. George Weah relinquished power. We know African leaders. We know Liberian men who, when it takes power, most of them have died trying to hold on to it. Our own kinsmen died trying to hold on to power. Just to the left crying, the snap coming for their nose. They had to fly into Nigeria. They don't like to leave power. So George, we are doing it voluntarily. It's a applause that most of us have to give our president on the back and pat him on the back for it. Other African nations are doing it. Look, I will make my own, hypothesis. Mr. Goya, I know that one has science notion and I'm math notion, but I will make my educated guess here and tell you that Mr. George, what George we probably did with that money was to put it towards the fees that he used to charter that private jet, or the fees that he used to pay those players and feed them. That's probably what he did with the gate money that he got from the Ghana games and so forth. So George Weah, I've given this advice to him. I'll give it here again. If he still wants to be in politics, 6 years is a long time. There are speech therapies. You can go to people who will teach you how to speak, how to enunciate, how to project, how to do things that make you a better public speaker. That's one of your points one of the points that you're not good at. You can take that 6 years to really become better. We saw it with Doe. Doe got his people around him. After a couple of years, he was speaking, and people could understand him, and people can say, "Yeah, he looks presidential." George Weah can attain a similar level of presidentiality. So for me, I think if he wants to come back into politics, work on those weak points, surround yourself with good people, people who know what they're doing, the likes of Cummings and other strong-minded people who are not easily corrupted, and you can still have that popularity, even though it's not going to be at the zenith that it was in 2017, but you will still have a pathway to the presidency. If you don't want to run for president, go around Africa, preach democracy, something that we fought a war over in Liberia, something that a lot of African countries have suffered from. Preach that message. Liberia, after 6 years, they will start to remember you fondly. Even if it's not for the politics, but because of what you did for the country, as a football icon, as a true Democrat, as a true patriot of our country, a true unifier, a philanthropist before he even became famous to start giving 100 bag of rice and $50,000 that somebody else gave you. You was a true philanthropist before you even got into politics. That's your natural calling. That's why the UN made you a peace ambassador. That's who you are at heart. You love the Liberian people. You didn't do the greatest of job as president, but you can do even more as a philanthropist and an ambassador to Liberia, to the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me go to Malice. Mr. Jones?
Yes,
what
sir.
will be your closing?
Thank you for sending your olive branch around the terrain. However, what I want to say here is that Georgia is not a history. 1, 2, Georgia might have had very good intention for Liberia, but unfortunately, he surrounded himself with high-class political thieves, some of whom were very inept with little experience, but he failed to remove them and replace them despite political outcry in Liberia.
That's true.
But again, I cannot hold Georgia responsible because he came with little political experience to this very Herculean responsibility. So he couldn't have changed anything. So maybe Georgia's definition for politics was maybe my best friend, not demarcating from best friend to management team. Maybe it's like he saw somebody think of politics. For instance, a big place like the City Corporation of Liberia, Maria City Hall, where you need an experienced law mayor to go sit down and do the job of the Liberian people. You get a student, Alain, could you almost drop out, but I don't know how to fix it. We had to talk one or two things according to unreliable sources.
Unreliable sources.
Yes. So what we're seeing here is that when you surround yourself with people who are not able to help you and you keep supporting them there, then you're very unpatriotic to the Liberian people. So Georgia shot himself in the legs. Lastly, Georgia did not relinquish political power. Georgia surrendered. He had no other choice. The Liberian people needed change. Okay? And Uncle Sam was on the other side reminding him about his deplorable human rights record. So Georgia even won this thing. Yeah, go read the 2022 human rights record. Go and read it. When Georgia went to Washington, when Georgia came to the United States, the first president in the history of Liberia to ever go to the CIO office, either for warning or for counseling or for direction, I don't know. All right? People go to that place to go see the president and see the White House and go for dinner. But if you went for warning, I mean, that's deplorable. Even the slave president that came in 1847, none of them even went to see none of them even went to see the security apparatus in Washington where they were warned. So,
wow.
In short, George Weah played his part, all right? But politics is not proving that George Weah is not good at politics. He brings tribal sentiment as well as traditional sentiment and friendship into politics. I think that's where George Weah get the whole thing messed up. And Joseph Barker have said there's a difference between friendship and management. So we are waiting for that practicality when he takes over. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Jerry, go ahead.
Thank you very much for the show. I differ a lot with most of the panelists on the issue of President Weah presidency. The reason why I went against President Weah presidency because I saw three major things that were lacking. There were three major things that were playing in. Number one, he was incompetent, which involved his government not being able to adequately disseminate information to the public efficiently and effectively. Number two, corruption at a high scale. Number three, the lack of empathy for the people. Like, look at what happened with the tanker in Toyota. President Weah did not say anything, no empathy. People died in the car. He came out to say the people were making love. I think those kind of things really touched me greatly to an extent to believe that President Weah was not a good leader. But we cannot take out of the equation all of some of the strange things that President Weah government did that previous government cannot boast of. For example, President Weah ran a government with all the help of international community. For the first time since post-war, he ran a country without the presence of international security forces as the way Ellen did. All right? President Weah was able to organize a strategy that will be able to cover up WIAC fees and other things, which almost gave him the second presidency of his reign. Number three, President Weah conducted several elections in the country that you had no international support when it comes to security and all of that. He conducted these elections successfully. I agree. There was some disgruntled violence here and there, which normally happen. But on the overall, he conducted elections that went free and fair, that people were elected into office rightly, who followed the democratic process. And number four, President Weah was able to maintain a budget of 600 million and even jump the budget to 700 million that he took from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. A government without international backing, without international support, without international aid and help, as the way Ellen government ran, he was able to maintain a 600 million budget. All right. In as much as I don't support the downsizing of, the harmonizing that Samuel Tour was doing, corruption, all that, but he maintained that budget and he turning over this budget to the incoming president without most of international support as the way Ellen received international help and aid. Lastly, President Weah is now transitioning. Mr. Mali said the man surrender. What you call surrender? The man knew that the election says that this man is not going to win no matter what. And the man came out and told you, he said there were some people, African leaders do not just do what President Weah did. Why? We can be honest. In as much as I support Ambassador Boyka because I believe and trust that he will change the trajectory of our country, but we must also not forget or negate the record President Weah has set for other African leaders to come, and even African leaders that are present. Liberia, again, has set a historical record in the international community that we can be trusted with the process of democracy. And for that, I must give him credit for that. CDC is an institution that Ambassador Barker must not listen to you guys that say CDC is dead.
Right.
I advise him not to take that kind of advice, and he should engage by doing exactly what he said he would do, or else 2029 you may see CDC repeat. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Okay, Terry. Jeez. Wow.
Terry on fire, my man. I was saying that I know people, you ready doing what tonight?
Terry, you go on the liberal blacklist. You go on the liberal blacklist, I'm telling you.
Go ahead. Says it. Wow, Terry. Terry. Go ahead, says it.
So I like that my brother Terry is hard, but he's hard with a bunch of stuff that don't make no sense.
I tell you, Sissy, God.
Thank you.
So Terry, to pretend
Oh God.
we don't have the internet at our fingertip that we can just do research.
I tell you.
It's sad. This is not back in the day when we were reading Matthew Draper and there was no way to do research. And we just talk about Matthew Nipo, we accept it, we wrong. I'm here looking at how many times the CDC was celebrating that they got loan from the World Bank, they got free grant from the World Bank. How many times? I was just looking at it. And yet I see people that are not getting support.
20, I just check $20 million from you for the election.
I know.
I didn't say support. I said as the way
support.
Terry. Yeah, I don't want to mute you.
Okay, anyway.
Yes, he said support plenty of time. The first time he said it, I winked my eye because that caught me off guard. So I started to just when I started checking it, to count how many times I'm out there making report where people then say, Papu, you strong. When they're running with it because they got money from the World Bank or they got money from USAID. The U.S. government has been continuously giving money for budgetary support. Hey, man. So many things in the jail on best Google search, man.
Allah.
So man, I'll do that thing to all year. And the other thing to talk about a WIEC fee that somebody pay without codifying it into law. You harmonize people's salary, then you pay the children a WIEC fee. You don't think the people would have been better getting their salary so they can pay the children a WIEC fee all the time? Then you take PTA money that you can't account for. The Senate committee was empowered to liaise with the Ministry of Education to tell the Liberian people how the WIEC fee situation was taken care of, whether it meant more good than how, whether it should be in budget. Till to date, we are Education Ministry and I provided that analysis. We come here to talk about that. Then you look, I would tell people this thing. A man who walks around boasting that I bath with my heart every day for my children and praise me to be a good father, he ain't got nothing else to talk about. To say because you lost election, you give it up, that you are the best president that protected our democracy since the founding. Let me remind some people that 3 presidents of Liberia have resigned. 3 presidents in history. They could have refused to resign, stay in power, force our country to go into war sooner than 1990. And for those people who are listening, who don't have the time to check, Gardner was the first, but we didn't even have the Liberian Frontier Force. Coleman was the second to resign. Charles D.B. King was the third to resign.
You will call that thing democracy?
Those people were surrounded by scandals. They have scandals. Come on, Cizé.
Okay. Ready? Because for me, Terry, I will not argue like you must say in CDC compound. You say I will not call that democracy. People voted. There were elections. I can't call it democracy. What is the difference between them? What is your definition of democracy that they didn't have at that time? They have free
one group of people had a political hegemony over the others. That's not a true democracy.
Please, we gotta go.
To have political dominance is not an absence of democracy.
Okay.
You go by your constitution.
That democracy.
Our constitution at the time was what we were carrying on. So you can tell me about all the bad things that were happening, but you can't tell me it was not democratic. It was not a democratic system.
But I think you were saying about President Weah.
So
there were bad things that happened, but he ran the country.
To mute you.
Hey man, Terry, sometimes you gotta listen.
I don't want to mute you, please.
Terry, listen.
Listen
not to respond, but listen to learn. I have not said that Weah was not democratic. I have never said that. It was all of the bad things that happened during the regime. I have never said he was not living in a democratic Liberia. I've not said that. So what is your point? I've never said that. I said they were all democratic regimes. They had bad things happening, but they were all democratic regimes. So I don't understand the pretend to push back on nothing. The last but not the least, when I laid out my point about the CDC, it was based on prevailing trend and patterns, not a one anomaly. You know, when somebody used to making 40, 40, 50, 40, 40, 50, 40, 40, 50, then they made 100, the teacher okay, say, what happened? That's an anomaly. And that's the anomaly that we talk about with the Unity Party coming back. We cannot use that as a data trend. And so my point I was making was not that George Manning Weah has not done anything for Liberia. If anybody that follows me on this platform, I've always said, Manning, when someone used to play football, we was go play Satan Fee, we take the fire code, the arches, and we run 14 hours back, we put it at that year a day for George Weah. Can't take that away from George Weah. That is quite different than the governance of the country. I can still love George Weah as one of the most patriotic Liberians that has ever walked the earth, and still disagree with him when it comes to political governance. And that's the thing people don't get. Right? So the CDC will have to go through the same metamorphosis as the Unity Party did when Ellen took it, if they must win another presidential election in Liberia. It cannot be the same CDC, the same structure as it is. Something has to give. And that is the point I'm making. And we all saw that the Unity Party of Edward Biankesari was dead. The Liberian Action Party, the chairman was leading, and the Liberian Unification Party all had to come together to come up with a new Unity Party that won the presidential election.
Okay. Thank you, Sisse. Mr. Josh, and then so can close it for us.
Terry, let me say something to you.
Oh boy, Terry, you take it tonight.
Yes.
When countries
Don't deviate from the group think.
when countries are normal, you don't find NGOs there. NGOs are just short term to assist the people to get back on their feet. They leave. The Omeo Tribune in Liberia were not there forever. We have had 2 successive elections. Peace was restored. Why the people should stay? So when you're coming, oh, the money everyone was receiving this, no. It was the time we had gone by high election. There was no more war. We had declared the country was safe. NGOs had to start packing up, got to go to places where there's tension. It was left with George Weah government to go out there to solicit funds to support his government. And if he failed to do that, you don't hold anybody responsible. But as Sister said, this going election, I think the United States used to get $20 million to fund this going election. So where are you coming from to say that? I don't know help. The budget you're talking about, you know how many budget shortfall they had? The $700 million I talking about? You know how many budget shortfall they got? So don't say that. The internet says you can just Google it. And let me go to Elvis. Elvis, you said something about Joseph Walker. And I want you to give me, maybe you come back and give me a record. You mentioned that Joseph Walker don't like Congo people. You said it. Yeah, tonight. I got it down. Because I want to know from what area, what direction, what is the yardstick you mentioned to say that Joseph Walker don't like Congo people? And the next thing I heard people saying, violence.
But why you keep asking Everett so many questions like you interviewing the man?
No, because he said it.
You want me to blow?
I don't want
to. You know my hands are tied. I can't answer the question you asked me. So
that's what he said. Joseph Walker don't like Congo people.
Okay. Mr. Josh, go ahead. Wrap it up. Way out of time. About 45 minutes.
Don't go there with me. Okay. When your patron, Terry was speaking, you didn't say you got to go for time.
My Lord, done it for me. My Lord, done it for me.
Let me come back.
And not there to know.
CDC, from 2011, CDC has been marked as a violent institution. So I don't know where people can see this as the most peaceful party in Liberia. Where that coming from?
Wow.
The message in Africa, instead of Africa.
Yeah, Africa. Where that coming from? When these people when they had women clothes on a clothes with tomato on in the street, when they burn tire in the street.
The papaya, you're not easy.
Where you coming from? How many elections in Liberia that citizens supervised that were not marked by violence? How many elections? Terry, you tell me.
Mr. George.
So,
If you want me to respond, then the show will not go well. Yeah. So
listen. I just want to say it.
Yeah.
I would say when it comes to football team, I don't argue with nobody for George Weah. But when it comes to the government political issue, no. So there's a difference. I'm an IE man. I used to go see George Weah playing. But because I'm an IE man, so when it comes to politics, he's not doing the right thing, so I can just sit down and start clapping. I'm not one
Barrow Ottaway.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Just want to leave it on that note.
Thank you.
When we come here, the internet is here. We can just type in, we all will pull it up. Don't let them come here and just strip all like that. Oh, this and that. But anyway, Mr. Terry, that's your homework. Come back the next time and tell me the come up to that just walk out here because I'm come on, man. So I won't see that.
Mr. So, you spoke already, and we're way out of time. So I'm not too sure if we're going to allow another. But anyway, I'll just let you 30 seconds, please. Go ahead.
Good night. I will see you. But look, folks, the Amos George, who I thought he was my buddy, Terry, I told you, this guy is a broken stick. You cannot hang on with him. He said it on this net repeatedly. He's inconsistent. He's a balance. Whatever he sees, the breeze, that's where he goes. That's Samson told. He's now campaigning vigorously for Fanatic Kofa because Fanatic Kofa potentially could be the one to take charge with CDC. Folks, you're liberal. You're so much in whatever reason you admire. But look, you know, the politics in Liberia is such a dynamic one. Yeah, and you can't just write out someone say, oh, that's the end of it. You never knows. And I say here, either the returns of WIA is contingent as to how President Joseph Boyka, president-elect, going to do. And all of you here, your pick side, they want to say he reaction, he's sedition. Samson told here a leftover Liberty partisan who is unable to manage his party cross carpet to seek political shelter. You have Amos Joyce here who can read the percentage required to be a full-fledged party. You have Sese Goyo here. Some of the you have Mali, a Moja trained.
My number too small.
No, I said 1%. You 1%. And I mean that your friend Samson told say, hey. Hello, guys. Ambassador Joseph Boyka, he needs to step out as well. As of now, President, we are the CDC, they screwed up. So we are not going to wait again. We have to now hold the incoming administration accountable as to how they're going to do it. I am not saying the legs here. I am not saying some of the things that they are conducting. I am disappointed with the president-elect recent action. Samson told here, never questioned it. All of you here never said anything. He told us he's going to be transparent. He's going to build institution. I didn't see his intervention in Banga as building institution. And that's something we're going to find time to discuss. We have humanitarian organizations in Liberia. We can have an early to start the same process of George. We are going to somewhere, George, we are and Clara, we are giving things this and that. And that's some of the things he called about a friend. I think Unity Party and the president needs to do better with that. If we need to build our institution, we need to start re-empowering the Red Cross Society. We have a humanitarian organization there. Let's give these people let's give them the ground so that they will stand as an institution to avoid people, because If you start doing this, what George Weah and the CDC did, everything was George Weah, Clark Weah, then we don't know what government responsibilities are when we have our president to go to these functions and say, that's a very difficult one. But great thing.
No, but Mr. So, Mr. So, where you coming from?
What?
Where you coming from?
You don't hear what I'm saying?
There's no one president.
Mr. George.
Yeah. You didn't wear us yet? Ambassador Brecker went there, the donation, what did he say? Here it went.
On behalf of here, what?
What was it? What was the country getting? Are you serious? You're not president. You know, this is why you guys do.
No.
It's not president.
Broke man living on loan, giving $55,000 US. It's unexplainable.
Listen,
gentlemen, the
money.
Gentlemen.
So like we're getting money, but he living on loan.
Black people, I don't want new people.
No, wait. I'm sure in my second.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. George, just say, please let him finish.
In Liberia. He's been certificated, which makes him more official as the president incoming. So that your thing you're talking, it doesn't hold no dip of water. You was still twisting here. This is why
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Can I give a comment to the army? He's not commander in chief.
No. Okay.
Well, he's not going to
Thank you.
Excuses for corruption. Excuses for corruption.
Money for a loan.
Thank you very much.
You want to take loan to get to do philanthropy?
According to this Explorer, he's a fair richer, so we're gonna loan that.
I don't want to mute you.
If he's the third richer man like that, then why
Mr. George. Good night, Mr. Soul. Good night.
Liberal, you are liberal. You are a disaster. Bye.
Good night, folks. Again, we have to do this here. We have a time here, so the time is over. We have to go. So, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow, and we will have a wonderful, wonderful show as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time. It's way out of time completely. So, but we'll be back again tomorrow. Samson to Liberia Pub Radio. Thank you and good night.